The first fight had all the makings of an instant classic. There was the parallel heights, which for one cast a long shadow. The parallel power, which for one flashed early.
Oh, and there's that right hand. That's what I was talking about.
There were shattered notions that one couldn't be taken down.
Jones gets taken down for the first time in his career.
And that the other couldn't dig deep enough to get back up.
Oh, high kick.
That the heart of a champion beats furiously, well into the night.
We are headed to the championship rounds.
And that he in fact can channel enough courage to change the outcome of a fight.
Vicious elbow.
Gustafsson is hurt.
Both warriors, knowing that through 25 minutes of hell,
both of these guys are pushed to their limit in this fight.
They played a hand in defining the other's greatness. Tonight, in a light heavyweight title rematch to one of the greatest title fights in UFC history, they do it again. But first, it's a super fight for the ages. Champion versus champion.
Oh, she's stunned.
The two best female fighters in the world wage battle as the bantamweight queen, a ferocious, fearless, wrecking machine, looks to solidify her legacy.
Devastating victory by Nunes.
By moving up a weight class and challenging the most dominant female fighter on the planet.
She is a destroyer.
The featherweight champion, a fearsome ball of power.
Oh, several flush knees now, and this could do it.
Who destroys everything she touches.
She's hurt bad. I don't think she knows where she's at.
And still unstoppable.
And strikes fear with the very mention of her name. Cyborg. And finally, it's the long-coveted rematch. The greatest fighter in UFC history returns to reignite his reign.
Jon Jones is back!
The man who has rewritten the record books and taken out fighting's biggest names, one after another.
Flawless performance.
Through use of force.
He's got a choke. It is all over.
Artistry and will.
That's it. He's out.
Jon Jones has done it!
Returns to face the one man who pushed him to his very limits. The Swedish Mauler, who can match him punch for punch.
Oh, big shot.
Kick for kick. Breath for breath. Until there's nothing left other than finality.
Oh, Chiesa goes down.
And the taste of gold.
Alexander with a huge knockout!
Tonight, it's UFC 232. Jones versus Gustafsson 2. And it starts right now.
Well, it has been a headline-filled holiday week for the MMA leader, but tonight the focus is on fighting. And one of the best cards of 2018, four of the best fighters in the world are set to be showcased in two high-profile championship bouts, all with a Southern California backdrop. Live from Los Angeles at the Fabulous Forum in Inglewood, California, USA. This is UFC 232, Jones versus Gustafsson 2. Brought to you by Modelo, food for those with a fighting spirit. Closed caption for tonight's telecast is brought to you by Happy Death Day to You. This Valentine's Day, death makes a killer comeback. The broadcast is also available in Spanish, brought to you by UFCEspanol.com. And with that, thank you for being with us for what is a monumental night here tonight in Inglewood, California. I'm John Anik, and I guess it wouldn't be a Jon Jones fight week without a little controversy, right? But this time around, Jones was deemed by the United States Anti-Doping Agency to have done nothing wrong. So after a quick pivot from Las Vegas to Los Angeles, and 5 years after they turned in an absolute championship classic, Jon Jones and Alexander Gustafsson will run it back for the undisputed UFC light heavyweight title. Thrilled to welcome in my broadcast partners, Joe Rogan, Dominic Cruz. Joe, I know you've devoted a lot of time to this story this week. Ultimately, you're thankful this fight is still intact.
Yes, I'm very thankful the fight is still intact. The whole ordeal is very complicated. There's some very tough to understand science behind it, but all signs indicate this is the presence of a long-term metabolite that has no indication whatsoever of recent use. This is something that now takes place because the testing is so much better than it was before. According to Andy Foster, who is the head of the California Athletic Commission, the testing now, what they're using is 2,000% above the WADA threshold, between 2,200 and 3,000. So that's how strong it is. You would need 2,000% more to test positive on the WADA threshold. This is how crazy this stuff is. But it's an indication that he has not taken anything recently. It was a contaminated supplement from somewhere around 2 years ago. It's still in his system.
Yeah, we know that he tested dirty. That's not a secret. He's done that once. He did his time, but now he's fighting because that's old traces, that's now. And if you're Alexander Gustafsson, you have to put that behind you, take this fight, move forward with your career, because it's not his job to worry about that. That's the UFC, that's USADA. They made the choice. John Jones is fighting, so you're fighting him, and that's where Alexander Gustafsson's mind is. He's made the adjustments in his game to go 4 and 5 rounds this time, which is where he believes he lost last time.
It's unfortunate we haven't had to think about this because the fight is so fantastic. This is an amazing matchup between two of the greatest light heavyweights of all time. And in my opinion, the guy who offers one of the biggest threats to John Jones because of his length, because of his footwork and his reach. The first fight was fantastic. Alexander Gustafsson rose to the occasion, and John Jones got caught in a situation where he did not adequately prepare for a man who put on the fight of his life. I think since then, Alexander Gustafsson has grown. He's a better fighter than he was back then, and I think John Jones' back is against the wall, and I can't wait to see how this plays out tonight.
You know, I beg to differ that John Jones wasn't ready for that last fight. I think that that's something he's telling himself because of the dirty test, that I need to be. I was dirty before, now I'm clean. I should be better now than I was before. But the bottom line is, I know that John Jones has made the adjustments, and so has Alexander Gustafsson.
The fight odds are brought to you by PokerStars, the undisputed champion of online poker. Knock your opponents out to take home millions of prizes every day on PokerStars.
And when it comes down to the adjustments of John Jones and Alexander Gustafsson, how has John trained harder than he did before? Is he put in a whole camp? Is that going to hurt him more? Some guys like to show up on 2 weeks' notice and fight better that way. Some guys like a long camp. We don't know what John Jones did before, but we know he's had a camp for this one. I want to see the best of these two, and I think this is what we're going to get in this matchup. I think before, we might have had a watered-down version, and it was still my favorite fight of all time to watch, so I'm ready.
All right, well, the appetizer for the main event is damn good in its own right. History going to be made one way or another here, guys. The first true women's super fight in UFC history. Amanda Nunes moving up to challenge the world beater Chris Cyborg for the featherweight title.
I love this fight. Champion versus champion. And I think this is going to be the biggest test of Chris Cyborg's career outside of Gina Carano, which was her first big test. Chris Cyborg is a destroyer. She's absolutely the biggest featherweight on the planet. She's an enormous woman who has to cut a lot of weight to get down to 145 pounds. She has brutal knockout power and a marauding, assaulting style of Muay Thai. She also has an outstanding ground game. It's very underrated that we never see because she smashes so many women on the feet. She is a true champion.
And what makes this fight so fun is everything you just said about Cyborg is what Nunes has been for the 135-pound division. She's been a wrecking crew. What she did to Rousey, what she did to Bethe Correia, what she's done to silver medalists in the Olympics, the things that she's done in this division with grappling, with takedowns, with leg kicks, holding people with leg kicks, with knockout punches in her boxing, with long combinations. She has been a hammer to the 135-pound division. Now we got to see how she holds up, moving up a weight class against a bigger woman that has been just as dominant as her.
There is a definite intensity, Joe, to this rivalry, this matchup tonight, and candidly, that hasn't always been the case with past Cyborg opponents who have been so up against it, massive betting underdogs. A lot of people think Amanda Nunes is a potential live underdog here tonight.
I think she's a live underdog. If Amanda Nunes particularly can get into the 3rd, 4th, and 5th round, things can get very interesting because Chris Cyborg cuts a tremendous amount of weight to make 145 pounds. She also has the ability to hurt Cyborg. For perhaps the first time in her MMA career, she has real one-punch knockout power, championship-level experience, and a significant skill level on the ground. She's got a real world-class ground game.
You know, we've seen Nunes be stronger and more powerful and a bully to the women in her division. Against a bigger woman, you have to be faster, slicker, technical, and you have to use footwork in order to outbeat somebody larger than you. Can Nunes make these adjustments?
Well, it's all coming your way here shortly, as usual. The MMA leader blowing it out for the year-end pay-per-view. Here's a look at the rest of the card coming your way tonight. The rest of the fight card is brought to you by EA Sports UFC 3. On sale now for a limited time. Play as your UFC favorites, including legendary Fight Night champion characters Andre Bishop and Isaac Frost. Get it today. He has 30 professional MMA wins, nearly 10 years on the UFC roster, and a UFC interim welterweight title to his credit. He is the natural-born killer, Carlos Condit. And for this consummate fan favorite, the fire still burns as he comes up on his 16th UFC appearance tonight against a divisional newcomer but familiar face in Michael Maverick Chiesa. Chiesa nearly broke through at lightweight, but the weight cut nearly broke him. Tonight at welterweight, Chiesa believes he is primed to add a signature win to his resume right out of the chute. Also playing tonight and built like a stack of bricks is light heavyweight hopeful Ilir Latifi. Perhaps a dark horse to make a title run, Latifi has quietly produced wins in 5 of his last 6. And here in yet another big spot, the Sledgehammer is hoping to get a big night for the Swedes off on the right foot against fellow contender Corey Overtime Anderson. He's also got some momentum on his side with back-to-back UFC wins, and the Nick Catone MMA product will look to make it a perfect 2018 with another W here in Southern California. These locker room shots are brought to you by P3, the official protein snack of UFC. And looking to prove he is still one of the top featherweights in the world tonight is the former 2-time title challenger, Chad Money Mendes. The Team Alpha Male staple certainly made up for lost time when he returned with a quick knockout back in July. He will try to remain within striking distance of another title shot by being the first man in the UFC to get past the streaking Aussie, Alexander Volkanovski. 15 consecutive wins and a 5-0 UFC start position him to call for this marquee matchup. And in a matter of moments, Alexander the Great will try to cash in. The rules of the Octagon are brought to you by Nemiroff, bold character since 1872. 3 judges score the fight. The bout duration is 3 5-minute rounds. For championship fights and all UFC main events, we go 5 5-minute rounds. A 10-point must scoring system is in effect. The round winner gets 10 points, his or her opponent 9 or fewer, and scoring is based on effective striking and grappling, followed by aggression and then octagon control in that order. All right, before we get started, your final rules update of the year, folks. The California State Athletic Commission does employ the new unified rules. We will also have the limited use of instant replay if needed. That is only to look at the end of a fight, so once replay is invoked, that particular fight cannot be restarted. The fighters have been made aware. These fighter rankings are brought to you by EA Sports UFC 3. Get 2 games for the price of 1 with the EA Sports UFC 3 Fight Night Champion Bundle, available for $24 exclusively on Xbox One for a limited time. So an interesting narrative with this first fight on pay-per-view tonight. Chad Mendes, number 5 in the world. Alexander Volkanovski, number 10. They both fought on the same fight card in Boise, Idaho in July. Volkanovski competed first, called for a fight with Money Mendes. We'll see if it's a case of be careful what you wish for. They're about to close the door behind him. And under the radar no more, Alexander Volkanovski draws Chad Mendes tonight. The Aussie tries to extend his winning streak to 16 and officially make his mark with the featherweight elite. 2018 has been a pivotal year for Chad Mendes and Alexander Volkanovski, with Mendes returning to his spot among the featherweight elite after a long layoff, while Volkanovski emerged as a featherweight contender with whom to be reckoned. Tonight they will meet with one man in place to set himself up for a massive 2019.
Alex is a guy that's a young up-and-comer. This guy is trying to come into this octagon and make a name off of me, and I'm not going to let it happen. I'm going to go out there, I'm going to put a hurting on this dude and show a lot of these guys in my division why I deserve to be at the top.
I'm so keen to get in there with Chad Mendes. He's only lost to the greats of the sport, but this is my time, and I just can't wait to step in the octagon and do my thing.
Australia's Alexander Volkanovski may have debuted in the UFC at lightweight, but it's been at featherweight where he has really made his dent. But regardless of division, Volkanovski has been perfect in the octagon, and tonight he hopes to follow up his win over Darren Elkins with his biggest victory to date.
Getting a win is always really good, but to finish off the year, right at the end of the year, with finish it with a bang, with a big knockout finish would mean the world to me right now.
After nearly 3 years on the sidelines, many wondered whether Chad Mendes would be in his traditional top form when he returned in July. But Mendes immediately announced he was back with a knockout of Miles Jury that took less than 3 minutes. and in so doing, he sent an ominous message to his featherweight peers.
I think my knockout of Miles Jury sent a great message to everyone in the division. Like, I didn't go anywhere. You know, I might have taken some time off, but I'm here. I'm one of the best in the world, and I'm here to prove it.
Representing Freestyle Fighting Gym and City Kickboxing, here is the upstart Alexander Volkanovski, 5-0 in the UFC. He has not lost an MMA fight in 5.5 years. He has never fought an opponent below 500. And he feels like he has trained with a lot of stocky wrestler types like Chad Mendes. He asked for this fight. We'll see how it goes for him here in a matter of moments.
Well, this is how you find out where you stand. You take that chance, you ask for the fight against a dangerous guy who's a real veteran, and you see what happens. And this will be the most high-profile fight of his career, and I believe the most dangerous fight of his career. Chad Mendes is very physically powerful. He's lightning fast. He's got great wrestling credentials, legit knockout power, and a lot of experience against world-class competition. As Volkanovski has said, the guy's only lost to the greats of the sport.
You know, something that Alexander said really struck me. When I talked to him, he said, you know, something different. It wasn't, I'm going to knock him out. It wasn't, I'm going to take him down. He can't beat me. I'm unbeatable. It was, I'm going to get him in the scrambles while we're breaking apart. He has holes, and I see that that's my opening to get to make real damage against Mendes. And what he means is he's looking for Mendes to try to wrestle him.
This fighter description is brought to you by P3, the official protein snack of UFC. Takedown ratio 16-3. He's been a very accurate striker. Significant strike defense also on point for Volkanovski. 18-1.
And knowing that Mendes is going to wrestle him is what he wants. He knows he's going to get taken down, but what he said is, I'm impossible to hold down, so that's why I wanted this fight. Even if he takes me down, he can't hold me there, and I'll hurt him on the break.
Volkanovski had a big win back in July against Mendes' teammate Darren Elkins, and you hear the Game of Thrones music blaring. David Benioff, co-creator, front and center here tonight for UFC 232. Not a bad seat. Volkanovski is ready to go. We now await the former three-time title challenger, Chad Money Mendes. So here is the number 5 ranked contender, Chad Money Mendes. Twice he has challenged Jose Aldo, fought Conor McGregor for the interim title. And after 2 years away from the game due to suspension, Joe, he came back about as sharp and as strong as he could against Miles Jury in July.
I think it was probably good for him. I mean, the guy had had so many tough fights, hard battles, and he came back looking fantastic. Here's the key. Didn't take time off training. Kept training the entire time during his suspension, and just came back with a lot of enthusiasm and completely refreshed. He is a freak athlete, this guy. I mean, he's ridiculously fast, ridiculously powerful, and is one of the more dangerous one-punch knockout artists in this division.
I mean, he's been wrestling his whole life, and that's translated over to his submission grappling. Outside of the suspension, you know, all of us athletes, we're just stay in shape because none of us want to stop. And for just getting banned, I mean, he could just train and train and train. He probably didn't take as much damage, probably took better care of his body, probably came back better from that 2 years than ever before because he wasn't taking damage in these fights. So I think we're going to see a better Chad Mendes, a more developed Chad Mendes than we've ever seen in these next coming fights of his career.
He's really developed the finishing instincts of late, has finished the opponent in 6 of his last 7 UFC wins. He's also a guy who's never been taken down in the UFC or the WEC, so you got to think at some point Volkanovski is going to try to level change and take Chad Mendes down. If he's able to do so, he will be the first to have accomplished that inside the octagon. Chad Mendes, Alexander Volkanovski kicking off a big night on pay-per-view tonight. This Tail the Tape is brought to you by Modelo, brewed for those with a fighting spirit. Mendes, 33 years old. Volkanovski, 30 years old. Both fighters 5'6" tall. Volkanovski's called it the Battle of the Hobbits. He will have a 5.5-inch reach advantage. All right, now for the introductions, the veteran voice of the Octagon, Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live from Los Angeles at the Fabulous Forum in Inglewood, California, for UFC 232, Jones versus Gustafsson 2, presented by Modelo, brewed for those with a fighting spirit. And now, this fight is 3 rounds in the UFC featherweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, a mixed martial artist holding professional record, 18 wins, 1 loss. He stands 5 feet 6 inches tall, weighing in at 145 pounds. Fighting out of Windang, New South Wales, Australia, presenting the number 10 ranked featherweight contender in the world, Alexander the Great Volkanovski. And now introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, a mixed martial artist holding a professional record, 18 wins, 4 losses. He stands 5 feet 6 inches tall, weighing in at 146 pounds. Fighting out of Sacramento, California, presenting the NCAA All-American Wrestler and the number 5 ranked featherweight contender in the world, Chad Money Madden! And the action begins. Our referee in charge, Mark Smith.
Mark Smith, our referee. You just saw Uriah Faber, longtime teammate of Chad Mendes. These fight odds are brought to you by Poker Stars, the undisputed champion of online poker. Knock your opponents out to take home millions of prizes every day on Poker Stars. Mendes, the -140 favorite. Volkanovski coming back at +130. And with that touch of gloves, we are underway. Volkanovski is in black. Chad Mendes is in white. Tonight's Fight Clock is brought to you by Modelo, brewed for those with a fighting spirit. Mendes met Uriah Faber when he was in high school. Went on to become a 2-time Pac-10 wrestling champion at Cal Poly, 2-time NCAA Division I All-American.
And he's stalking Volkanovski right now.
And what a story it is on Volkanovski, former professional rugby player. He was a front rower. And when he played rugby, 214 pounds, competing at 145 pounds tonight.
What? Is that real?
That's what the card says.
I think that's impossible.
That's ridiculous.
Should have stretch marks or something.
Yeah.
This is a literal mirror match. It's going to be a matter of speed and who chooses what weapons how.
Yeah, Volkanovski's got him pressed up against the cage now, or at least he's controlling the center of the octagon, rather.
Chad's looking for a takedown. He's just backing up because he's trying to pull him into a takedown right now. That's what I see.
Nemiroff, bold character since 1872.
On fingers, Alexander.
Volkanovski just grazed him with that right hand.
Let's be faster. Circle, don't let him get straight.
Oh, nice combination from Mendes.
I think at least the left hand was blocked there. It looked like the right might have partially gotten through.
On paper for Volkanovski, short sample size, but top 3 in terms of significant strike accuracy in UFC history in any division. He's landed just 4 of 19 so far. Mendes with a flurry.
Nice uppercut up the middle.
Boy, Mendes throws a lot of horsepower into those shots.
That's what we saw with Aldo. He used a lot of power early, and kind of you see in the later rounds. Same with Mendes, or excuse me, same with Conor. When he fought Conor, gets a little tired, but that was a short notice fight. Let's see if he can keep the pace and keep the power throughout the entire fight, this one.
Yeah, those explosions are costly. There's that takedown that you talked about, takedown attempt. Those explosions are costly, but they paid dividends for him. So many knockouts.
My experience of watching Mendes, he needs at least a takedown around to feel the comfort that he wants. And if Volkanovski can stop those takedowns, I think he has a better chance of winning this fight. He's got to stop the takedowns of Mendes to keep Mendes where he's not comfortable the whole fight.
Under 2 minutes here to go, round one. Volkanovski trying to establish the jab.
Good jab by Volkanovski, and that's a huge weapon he can use because that'll force Mendes to shoot. Instead of, if he throws the right hand, he's committed to the right hand, so Mendes can shoot underneath it and get the double leg. By throwing that jab out there, he's forcing Mendes to shoot to a single leg, which is much easier to defend.
And Volkanovski's keeping Mendes thinking, too, with all these feints. A lot of feints as he gets in closer. Ooh, nice right hand there by Volkanovski.
And he's keeping the pressure heavy on Mendes, making Mendes think. Mendes is in counter mode right now, waiting for the punch, and then following it up from body head.
I like that jab. That jab of Volkanovski's slick. Nice, went to the body with it there.
Good jab.
Shot from Mendes, he gets Volkanovski down.
And this is where Volkanovski said he was going to make the difference. He said, I can't get held down. Even if he takes me down, he can't hold me there, and I'll pick him apart when I get away.
Look at that. He got right back up to his feet. He ate a little bit of an uppercut on the way out.
And that's the takedown Mendes needs for comfort, though. He at least got one, but the needs a little bit more time holding him down to feel real comfortable, I believe. He's still doing well in this fight.
Nice right hand behind the ear landed by Mendes. How about the boundless energy, though, of Volkanovski? It's infectious.
What I'm seeing is Volkanovski establishing a slight edge with his striking technique. I think he's been a little bit better with his defense, and he's establishing that jab, and he's making Mendes think.
High-level MMA right there. Tonight's Corner Cam is brought to you by P3, the official protein snack of UFC.
Sit down, bro.
That's beautiful, brother.
Yep.
It's beautiful. Start jabbing to the gut a little bit, bro. You've got to,
more, yeah?
Yeah, just a little bit. You got to confuse before the looks. You can't really read what you're doing when you
Yep.
come in. So just start mixing up your jab now.
How's the range, right?
Yeah, I want you to jab to the body and then come over, yeah? Okay?
Yep.
You're just going all head, honey. I want you to go to the body and then come over, yeah?
Yep.
Yeah, Brad, yeah?
Exactly, yeah. That's exactly it, bro.
Yeah, show him a different look.
Try to come underneath now, all right? Be quick. Let's get him around the gloves. Come around the gloves. He's right here. Come around and fuck him up. In and out. In and out. You're
so much time against the cage either. So glad.
in and out. Good job. Settle down. Let's fuck that leg up outside. Get your head off center. Okay, remember, pull your shoulder back. Take that uppercut away. Yeah, we're faster. We're faster.
Let's go.
In and out all night. In and out.
Tonight's crowd shots are brought to you by Poker Stars, the undisputed champion of online poker. Knock your opponents out to take home millions of prizes every day on Poker Stars. And how about LA showing up and showing out, banging out this forum on short notice here tonight?
All right, guys, second round. Fight's on.
Round two, Alexander Volkanovski and Chad Mendes.
I think Mendes does have the speed, but I'd like to say that basically Volkanovski just looks more comfortable standing. Chad Mendes looks good standing, but he doesn't look as comfortable standing, which adds to exhaustion as the fight moves on, because when you're uncomfortable in your fight and where you're at, that taxes you.
I agree. He looks less comfortable, and also he's responding to a lot of the feints of Volkanovski. So he's always tense.
And now he's feinting back, and that's what Mendes can do to counter that. Feint back to the feint and not explode so much. All the huge explosions to cover distance and range, whereas Volkanovski's covering distance and range with his jab, with his kicks. And Mendes is exploding with power to cover range, so it's more exhausting. Good right hand by Volkanovski.
It's also the defense of Volkanovski's been on point, too. So when Mendes does these flurries, he's not getting benefit from it. Oh,
you got to watch out, though, because Mendes can finish these fights at any time. He's got non-stop power, and he counts on it, and he's good at it.
Look at Volkanovski just...
There it is. Volkanovski down. It started with the right hand, and now we're going to see Mendes have comfort. Now we hurt him. Now we get to see Mendes establish some striking and really feel where he wants to be.
He got clipped with the left hand there. Volkanovski smiles at him.
This is the fight we wanted right here.
Mendes just stepping forward now. Got to be careful there. He's looking for that left. Nice. Rips to the body with it.
Caught on the bridge of the nose of Alexander Volkanovski. Less than 3.5 to go here, round two.
Mendez taking a little breather now. And that's when Volkanovski's going to press. Volkanovski knows that he pushed a lot of energy out there.
I don't think it's a question of being tired, Joe. I think it's a question of respect.
Yes.
That power that he felt. He understands, all right, I can get hurt too. I can hurt him, but he can hurt me too.
Well, I think it's also understanding there's 3 minutes left in the round.
Yeah.
And he just can't keep... Oh! Volkanovski tees off on him.
Volkanovski's showing a lot of toughness right now. Mendez, perfect timing on that takedown. He needs to hold Volkanovski down here. He needs to get some air and to get his rhythm and his momentum back.
That cut for Volkanovski not in a great place. Blood trickling into that left eye. Wow.
Right back up. Volkanovski with an amazing takedown defense, or at least the ability to get back up to his feet.
The defense doesn't matter as much as what you just said, Joe, getting back up.
There's some blood coming out of the nose of Mendez and the eye of Volkanovski. This fight's getting serious.
That jab's picking Mendez apart, and that's what's messing him up right now. It's that jab. That jab is really causing issues. That was a shift. Fake the jab, came over the top with the right when he switched to southpaw. Nice shift by Volkanovski.
Another beautiful jab right there by Volkanovski. Nice inside leg kick.
Beautiful combination.
Volkanovski coming on strong.
Mendez needs to start going to the body and quit trying to explode to the head hunting of Volkanovski. Go to the body, set up to the head later on after he goes to the body.
That is the difference. Is the look. Okay, now at least he's doing this in the center of the octagon.
Don't forget,
see if he can control it. Oh, he's got the back.
What about the explosion that took, though, Joe? To do all this, how much energy is this taking? Now he's got control. That's what he needed.
That's true, but he is a finisher.
Yep.
I mean, you're talking about a guy who finished Jeff Glover in a submission match.
This is a guy who can't be held down, according to Volkanovski, and that's the issue.
Look at this. Back up. Nice kick to the body by Volkanovski.
When you
oh, he's hurt. He's hurt.
He needs that momentum on the ground.
Volkanovski's teeing off on him.
Oh, huge elbow. Mendez needs to get off the fence and get to moving his feet.
Mendez is in big trouble.
Less than a minute now to go in the round.
What a war.
Volkanovski with an incredible pace here, too. He's just putting a lot of pressure on Mendez. Ripping to the body. He dropped him.
That's it.
Wow.
Huge
wow.
Alexander Volkanovski has finished Chad Mendez. And with immediacy vaults into featherweight title contention.
Wow. What a victory for Volkanovski. I mean, that is absolutely huge for that guy. Chad Mendez, a top 5 contender. And Volkanovski comes in here and closes the show in a war.
I mean, and Volkanovski, he's just getting started, man. Only started MMA training in 2011. Let's get to the fight replay.
That's crazy.
Brought to you by Nemiroff, bold character since 1872.
That's an almost as crazy a statistic as his weight when he was playing rugby.
Right.
I mean, here we see the beginning of the end, the knee to the body. I mean, he's just relentless, staying on top of Chad Mendez. And the jab, as we were talking about before, is a big factor. Look at this, rips to the body here. Hits him with that one on the forehead. And that's what dropped him. It was the one to the temple. And then boom, there's one behind it. Let's take a look again. Rips to the body, and then the right hand over the top, and that's what dropped him. Amazing victory for Alexander Volkanovski.
Who left a successful rugby career, put his family's life on hold to pursue the UFC dream. And how about that result tonight? Tonight's stats brought to you by Poker Stars, the undisputed champion of online poker. Knock your opponents out to take home millions of prizes every day on Poker Stars. The longest active win streaks in the featherweight division, a dozen for Holloway. Volkanovski now in a 4-way tie with Arnold Allen, Enrique Barzola, and Zabit Magomed Sharipov. All right, the official decision brought to you by Metro by T-Mobile. Get unlimited high-speed data all month long on the same network as T-Mobile. To make this one official, Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Mark Smith has called a stop to this contest at 4 minutes, 14 seconds of round number 2. Declaring the winner by TKO, Alexander the Great Volkanovski.
I'm here with the winner, Alexander Volkanovski, and you, sir, just emerged as a huge contender in the featherweight division tonight. Just an outstanding performance in a real war against Chad Mendez, and this is a fight that you called for. What was it about Chad that made you think you could do this tonight?
Man, I just want to shoot for these ranks. I've said it from the start. Even though he's probably one of the toughest guys in the division, I knew this would get me in front. This would get me in the top 5. I've finally done it, you know. A lot of respect. He's only lost to the greats, and now he just lost to another great, Alexander the Great. Mate, I'm stoked.
You seem so composed tonight, even after you got clipped. How bad were you hurt during that one exchange?
I wasn't hurt. I didn't go too lucky. Definitely, I guess it dropped me. But, I felt fine. Like I was clear-headed. Something got me in the eye. I think it might have been that punch. It was more just blindness in the eye sort of thing. But, mate, I just kept coming forward. You know what I mean? I'm one of the most dangerous guys in this division. I can go with all the powerful ones. I can go with the jiu-jitsu guys. I can go with the stand-up guys. I'm one of the most well-rounded. I put it together better than anyone in the division. I'm Max Holloway's worst nightmare. I've got a lot of respect for Max Holloway. I really do. He's a gangster. I absolutely love what he does in there. But the fact that he's such a gamer and he's crazy in there, he will stick to something that I'm so good at. It's in the pocket, and he hasn't wrestled. He hasn't fought a wrestler like me or Chad Mendes or Frankie Edgar.
Sensational performance.
Sorry about that, no disrespect.
It's all right, you're just saying what you feel. Listen, you did a fantastic job tonight. Sensational performance against a top 5 contender. Congratulations, and I look forward to seeing your next fights.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Los Angeles, love you.
Alexander Volkanovski, ladies and gentlemen.
He will be in the top 5 next week. Couldn't have done much more to maximize the showcase here tonight. That post-fight interview brought to you by EA Sports UFC 3. Get 2 games for the price of 1 with the EA Sports UFC 3 Fight Night Champion Bundle. Available for $24 exclusively on Xbox One for a limited time.
Volkanovski showing up, getting the job done.
The celebs are showing up as well. Big fight fan there. Mario Lopez in the building at the Forum here in Inglewood, California tonight. Also, Roy Jones Jr. Octagon side here tonight for UFC 232. Tonight's crowd shots are brought to you by PokerStars, the undisputed champion of online poker. Knock your opponents out to take home millions of prizes every day on PokerStars. All right, these locker room shots brought to you by P3, the official protein snack of UFC. And don't look now, but Latifi as close to a UFC title shot as he's ever been before. After a submission win against Oben St. Preux earlier in 2018, Latifi will now try to make it 6 wins in his last 7. As he faces the always conditioned Corey Overtime Anderson, his focus tonight to stay mentally locked in for every minute of the fight. He believes if he can do that, he will be the man in the top 5 come the middle of next week. UFC 232, Jones versus Gustafsson 2, is brought to you by Modelo Especial. Since 1925, we've proved that it doesn't matter where you come from, it matters what you're made of. Modelo, brewed for those with a fighting spirit. By Metro by T-Mobile. Get unlimited high-speed data all month long on the same network as T-Mobile. By P3, the official protein snack of UFC. And by EA Sports UFC 3, on sale now for a limited time. Play as your UFC favorites, including legendary Fight Night champion characters Andre Bishop and Isaac Frost. Get it today.
Boxing is a very limited form of fighting. What Ultimate Fighting is, it's the actual sport of fighting.
Both of these guys has a chance to silence all the doubters, all the haters. Look at this sprawl, beautiful sprawl. Oh, good combination.
Oh! Severn goes to his back. Frost not doing a bad job defensively, though. Oh!
The hype behind this contest is insane. I cannot wait to see it.
Tonight's main event fighter arrivals are brought to you by AirAsia. Connect to over 130 destinations across Asia, Australia, and beyond with the world's best low-cost airline. Now everyone can fly. And there is the man still considered by many to be the best mixed martial arts fighter to grace the octagon. Former UFC light heavyweight champion, Jon Jones. Due to a bevy of issues, he's only been able to showcase his skills twice in the last 4 years. Tonight, he will try to present the most complete version we have seen to date against the man who gave him his most challenging title defense, the perennial 205-pound contender out of Stockholm, Sweden, Alexander Gustafsson. Twice Gustafsson has challenged for the sport's ultimate prize, and twice he has acquitted himself quite well. Tonight, against his biggest rival, he hopes to complete the mission and and finally be able to call himself the undisputed UFC champion.
Hey everybody, I am UFC President Dana White. You've heard me say it a million times. Fighting is in our DNA. So I know you're gonna love what we got planned for UFC Fight Pass in 2019. Over the next 12 months, we will stream over 250 live combat sports events on UFC Fight Pass. That's more than 20 live events per month, 5 events a week, over 1,200 hours of live fight action. You'll get exclusive UFC Fight Pass prelims before every pay-per-view, and the best up-and-coming fighters showcased in live fights from Cage Warriors, Glory, Invicta, Pancrase, Quintet, and many, many more. But it's not limited to MMA. UFC Fight Pass will become the home to world-class boxing, kickboxing, submission grappling, Muay Thai, and martial arts competitions from around the world. Plus, UFC Fight Pass will have new original series, special programming, and of course, our massive archive of over 20,000 fights. If you are obsessed with combat sports like I am, UFC Fight Pass is a must-have for the new year. Start your free trial right now.
And to that end, a look at what is coming your way over on UFC Fight Pass when the calendar turns to 2019. As usual, Fight Pass prelims for all UFC pay-per-view events, plus the MMA from around the globe you have come to expect, including the likes of Invicta FC and Cage Warriors. Submission grappling events, including EBI and Polaris. Also Roy Jones Jr. boxing, and plenty of kickboxing and Muay Thai coverage as well. UFC Fight Pass. Download the UFC app today. Well, later tonight, you may have heard Jon Jones and Alexander Gustafsson in our championship main event. What's coming up? Brought to you by EA Sports UFC 3. Get 2 games for the price of 1 with the EA Sports UFC 3 Fight Night Champion Bundle, available for $24 exclusively on Xbox One for a limited time. And as we get ready for this next light heavyweight tilt, the fight odds brought to you by Poker Stars, the undisputed champion of online poker. Knock your opponents out to take home millions of prizes every day on Poker Stars. Alir Latifi, slight favorite, -135. Corey Anderson, the underdog, at +125. This is a big fight in terms of the pecking order at light heavyweight heading into the new year. Well, after winning the Ultimate Fighter 4 years ago, Corey Anderson grew up in public as he battled the UFC's best. Tonight, it could be graduation day for overtime as he tackles powerhouse Alir Latifi. Before Jon Jones and Alexander Gustafsson settle their score and determine a new UFC light heavyweight champion, top 10 contenders Alir Latifi and Corey Anderson have their own business to attend to as they try to move within striking distance of a title shot.
Like I always go in for every fight, I go in to make a statement, and I gotta make it tonight too, you know, to get that title shot.
I just gotta go out there and put on the best performance I can. Go out there and let them know I'm ready. I'm 13 fights deep, and it's my time to get up to the title.
A relentless force whose ability to impose his will on his opponent has led him to 8 UFC wins. Corey Anderson hits the proving ground tonight off back-to-back wins over Pat Cummins and Glover Teixeira. And as you might expect, confidence is high.
I'm a dangerous matchup for everybody in my division. They look past me, but every time I match up against somebody, at the end, they don't want to go again.
Sweden's Alir Latifi is sporting his own 2-fight winning streak heading into this clash, and whether pounding out a decision win over Tyson Pedro or submitting Ovince St. Preux, it is clear Latifi remains a formidable force and one who is at the top of his game.
My last 2 fights were important victories for me, and I did well, so tonight I'm here, and I'm just gonna keep on doing what I'm doing.
All right, so here's the number 10 ranked UFC light heavyweight contender, Corey Anderson, 2-time collegiate wrestling All-American at the JUCO and D3 levels. So he tried out for the Olympic wrestling team with the great Ben Askren, who persuaded him to try mixed martial arts. And here is Corey Anderson making his 13th UFC appearance tonight in search of a 9th win inside the octagon.
And he's coming up with 2 big wins in a row against Pat Cummins and the last one against Glover Teixeira. a guy who just a few years ago was thought to be one of the very best light heavyweights on the planet. Corey Anderson is a guy who continues to grow and learn with every outcome. With every fight you see him, you've seen a better version of Corey Anderson. And that man, Mark Henry, is a big reason for that. He's got a fantastic camp. He's prepared for this, and this is a big challenge in front of him because Ilir Latifi is a powerhouse, an extremely dangerous guy with ridiculous power punches.
As you said, Latifi is extremely powerful, although Anderson does have some gifts in this fight that can help him. He's taller, he's longer, he's got good footwork. He establishes the jab early. He establishes feints and in-and-out movement early. He's light on his feet, and he throws combinations. What I've noticed, though, sometimes as the rounds go on, he tends to steer away from that style, and he starts sitting a little heavier, being a little bit more stationary, and resorts only on takedowns after that first round. He stops setting them up, and he just goes to the takedown. He can't do that with Latifi because Latifi's background is wrestling. So he's got to be seasoned. He's got to be comfortable on his feet, and he's got to try to pick apart Latifi from the outside, or else he's going to have a long night.
With as much momentum at present as any light heavyweight, here's the number 5 ranked contender, Ilir Latifi, 7-3 overall in the UFC. Now, he has hinted at a move up to heavyweight, depending on how it goes for his teammate Alexander Gustafsson later tonight. But Latifi, Dom, brings a whole lot to the table. Well-rounded fighter, good wrestler, very technical striker. And he's got a big one, obviously, in front of him here tonight.
Well, the best part about this matchup for Latifi is he's got Alexander Gustafsson in the same camp as him the entire time, who's longer than Corey Anderson, who's taller, just as good at footwork, does everything Corey Anderson does, except Corey Anderson has that wrestling background. But that's what Latifi has as well. So this is a great matchup for him. He's had the training partners to prepare for it. Let's just see if Latifi can put these together with the skills that he already has and do what he needs to in order to move up the ladder and create opportunities for him later on.
Yeah, Latifi has the air of a guy who's really streaking right now. And, you know, he also showed in his last fight that he's capable of winning by submission against Open St. Preux. He's a real powerhouse, like a freakishly powerful guy, both with his punches and with his wrestling and his ability to submit guys. He's just a tank of a man. And there's real consequences to the exchanges with him. You know, when you get into these exchanges, when you're in there with a guy like Ilir Latifi, any little tiny mistake, you can wake up with a flashlight in your face.
Right. Something I love he does so well is he'll like run, throw a few combinations to your gut, and then right when your hands drop, he comes with a power overhand right or a power overhand left. He almost gets you to bite on the body shots, thinking he's going to go heavy to the body, and then when your hands lower, he hits the power behind it. Very tricky. And he knows how to use his power regardless of his height.
Could be a huge night for the Swedes. Let's see if Ilir Latifi can get it started on the right foot. This tale of the tape is brought to you by Modelo, brewed for those with a fighting spirit. Latifi got somewhat of a late start in MMA. He is 35 years old. Corey Anderson, 29. Corey Anderson, the taller man by 5 inches. He will have a 5.5-inch reach advantage when they close the octagon door. Now for the introductions, we send it back inside to Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this fight is 3 rounds in the UFC light heavyweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, a mixed martial artist holding a professional record, 12 wins, 4 losses. He stands 6 feet 3 inches tall, weighing in at 204.5 pounds. Fighting out of Robbinsville, New Jersey, by way of Ruskin, Illinois, presenting the Ultimate Fighter Season 19 light heavyweight winner and the number 10 ranked light heavyweight contender in the world, Corey Overtime Anderson. And now introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, a wrestler holding a professional record, 15 wins, 5 losses, 1 no contest. He stands 5 feet 10 inches tall, weighing in at 205.5 pounds. Fighting out of Malmo, Sweden, presenting the number 5 ranked light heavyweight contender in the world, Ilir the Sledgehammer Latifi. when the action begins. Our referee in charge, Mark Goddard.
Here we go.
Mark Goddard, our referee. The beautiful Vanessa Hansen getting us started for round one. Thank you, V. Ariane Celeste, Brittany Palmer on hand. Must be a pay-per-view night. Ilir Latifi's here. The fight clock is brought to you by Modelo, brewed for those with a fighting spirit. Latifi is in red, Corey Anderson is in the white.
Feint to Corey Anderson right off the bat, but you got to keep that going if you're going to offset Latifi.
Latifi trains at the All-Stars Training Center alongside Alexander Gustafsson, Gokhan Saki, Jimmy Manawa. A lot of elite-level talent in that camp.
I see a lot of similarities in Latifi's build, in the way he moves, the way he holds his hands, the way he wrestles in Daniel Cormier. I mean, there's similarities. Daniel Cormier is much more aggressive with the clinch, but the way that he moves, the way he defends, the way he picks his punches, very interesting. He's extremely powerful, regardless of how short he is, and from the outside, he figures out a way in the pocket.
And he has trained with DC in the past. Nemiroff, bold character since 1872.
I believe they trained together at the Olympic Training Center. Ooh, big calf kick. Those add up. Can't eat a lot of those. You literally can eat maybe 3 of those before your calf just shuts down and your foot starts flopping.
Latifi having a little bit of an issue trying to close the gap. Look at that.
There's
again.
2. See how many more of those you can see. You see his foot start to shut down already. It only takes about 3 if you eat them heavy.
Takedown attempt by Latifi.
That high crotch on the outside is what Daniel Cormier has made very effective. Latifi couldn't finish it. But that's his takedown attempt. Now watch that calf kick. He's going to keep using it.
Oh,
big uppercut, man.
Stunned him.
Anderson fighting without a mouthpiece here. Action resumes now, less than 3 minutes to go in round one of a possible 3. Corey Anderson came in tonight with more takedowns landed than any light heavyweight in UFC history. Only took him 12 fights to accomplish that feat. Had a UFC record 12 takedowns against Pat Cummins 2 fights ago.
Latifi was looking for that kick again. Corey seems to have regained the use of that leg.
Well, it takes a minute. It only shuts down for about 30 seconds, and then hopefully it comes back alive. But if you eat too many of those, your foot just goes limp. It's like a nerve thing. It's crazy. Regardless of how bad it hurts.
Oh, he stung him with that left hand.
Yep, left hand hurt him. Calf kick's going to come soon. Now he's got him thinking about the hands. I won't be surprised to see that calf kick come again from Latifi.
The ground shakes when Latifi just advances. Under 2 minutes here, round one.
I think that was you shaking, John.
Hey, I got my fat suit on tonight, though. Corey Anderson has talked so much about the mental game and maintaining a positive mindset during fight week, when maybe you're cutting weight and training isn't going as well as it had gone the previous 8 weeks.
Ooh, big left hook lands for Latifi.
And Corey Anderson is staying right in front of him during these exchanges. Very dangerous spot to be in.
He's heavy on that lead leg, and that's why that calf kick is working so well. You see how heavy he is leaning forward on that lead leg? That's what Latifi's reading. Ooh, big left hand lands. I'd like to see Corey Anderson keep throwing those kicks up there. Those are being effective. They're keeping Latifi on the outside. Those high kicks are working.
Yeah, he's got a very good jab, too. I'd like to see him use a little bit more of that.
Jabs and high kicks. The jab can hide the high kicks as well, so he needs to be using both. You're right. Ouch. Another calf kick.
You hear the Anderson corner maybe calling for quicker feet out of Corey. Landed a right hand there.
Yeah, good job by Corey ducking under that right hand.
Well, you know Anderson can fight at this pace for 15 minutes.
Good.
All right, 5 minutes down. Tonight's Corner Cam is brought to you by P3, the official protein snack of UFC.
Listen to me. You're throwing, he's blocking, and he's countering. He's going with like a low 4 right here. You follow what I'm saying? He's only getting you on the 4s and off the counters. You understand what I'm saying?
Because you're shooting off your right hand.
Off the clinch, you're putting your head back and not looking. You follow what I'm saying?
You
the
understand?
uppercut at 5, that left uppercut's wide open, bro. Wide open. You hit him with it before. Keep your pop. Keep hitting with that jab and pop out.
And as we see here, calf kick to Latifi, from Latifi to Anderson. Another kick, and it's because he's very heavy on that lead leg. And a big left, boom, lands on the chin. Hurts Anderson, he keeps it together. So far, Latifi's landed the bigger shots, but it's a very competitive fight still.
UFC 232, Jones versus Gustafsson 2 is presented to you by Modelo, brewed for those with a fighting spirit. Live at the Forum in Inglewood, California here tonight. Round 2 now, Ilir Latifi and Corey Overtime Anderson. Mark Henry, Ricardo Almeida in the corner of Corey Anderson. Always a pleasure to watch those men alongside Nick Catone go to work. I feel like that left uppercut could be there. We'll see if Anderson can find an opening.
Good kick to the body by Corey.
He needs to keep that jab out and keep those kicks going and have a lot more success. Those are rangy weapons, and he needs to use more of them.
And Corey's really known for his endurance. He can keep up his pace easily. And Ilir Latifi, because of that style, he's had some endurance issues in the past because he's so explosive. He's basically sprinting several times around.
It's very similar to what we saw in Mendez, Rogan, where he explodes into cover distance instead of really double jabbing in, kicking, and then punching in. He explodes, and it is taxing, but he's so powerful and so quick, he can do it. Oh, huge right hand. Gosh, those are heavy punches by Latifi.
Anderson just ate it, though.
Yeah, chin seems to be holding up pretty well.
Got that beard going.
Stuff that takedown.
Great wrestling by Anderson. I mean, he's making good decisions on when he chooses to shoot. Good defense here so far. See if he can stop this attempt by Latifi. If he gets his hands locked, it's a problem, but he doesn't. There we go, we're good. If you're Anderson, you just got to stay on that wizard here, push the head down of Latifi. If you stay on this arm, you can switch to a single leg and dump you on your butt. Good transition.
Excellent defense by Corey Anderson, and a nice knee to the body.
Yep, and that's what you got to do to Latifi. Stop his takedowns and then put the pressure on. And now he's a little bit tired from the wrestling attempts, like you said, Joe.
It's interesting that that power is such an advantage, but the problem is if you have it, you use it.
Yeah.
And if you use it, you run out of juice if it doesn't work.
That's called live by the sword, die by the sword. I mean, that's what it is with these power fighters.
Good sign for Corey Anderson. He has stuffed all 7 takedown attempts of Ilir Latifi thus far. As he rips the body there.
Good right hand to the body by Corey.
If I'm Anderson, I'm going to keep keeping the gut. I'm going to keep kicking the gut, and I'm going to keep punching to the gut.
Latifi clearly slowing down now. And Corey Anderson sensing it, and he's starting to put together some nice combinations here.
I don't like how Corey Anderson is leaving the break when they get close, though. I mean, that right hand and the left hook of Latifi is getting closer and closer on these breaks here every time.
Yeah, Mark Henry was just screaming at him to keep that right guard up.
Ooh, nice knee. Knees would be a great use for Anderson as well, because Latifi leans over his lead leg so heavy. You see how hard he leans over his lead leg? That makes knees very effective if Anderson starts to read it.
Latifi's mouth is wide open here. He's very tired. And Corey senses it, and here he comes.
There's his condition as any light heavyweight.
Yeah, tremendous conditioning by Corey Anderson, always. Oh, good right hand by Latifi. Man, but Anderson avoiding these shots.
Yeah, man.
Avoiding these shots, and he knew Latifi was tired before. Look at him, hands on his hips.
Yeah, not good body language out of Latifi.
Now's when you go to the body. Go to the body of Latifi here when he's already tired. His hands are down. There it is, and he went for it. You headhunt, you give Latifi a shot to counter you, but if you go to the body, you keep taking his air out. There's a leg kick. Cheap kicks to the gut would be nice from Anderson here. Jabs to the body.
Latifi trying to get these breaths in whenever possible. Just over a minute to go here, round 2. It's been a big second round for Corey Anderson, as evidenced by the significant strike numbers there.
Huge second round because the tide is clearly turned. He's saying he's grabbing his shorts. Oh, he clipped him with that left hand on the break, Tom, as you were talking about. Right hand by Corey, though. Beautiful jab. Look at the endurance of Corey Anderson.
Well, it's what you said. He doesn't explode like Latifi does, Joe. I mean, he's picking his shots right. He's using distance shots to close. He's using jabs and kicks to close the distance instead of hopping in with power.
Yeah, he's fighting technically and efficiently.
Great big second round for Corey Anderson. Tonight's Corner Cam is brought to you by P3, the official protein snack of UFC.
All I want you to think about is Jen and CJ. You need one. It's this hump day. You never go over the hump today, you're going over the damn hump. Listen to me. Keep your hands up after you throw. He's hitting you out of the clinch because you're looking out of the clinch. Every time you clinch, you're pausing and looking, and that's what he's hitting. You understand what I'm saying? That's the only time he's getting you when you're waiting in front. Keep your face there. Look at me. 5 minutes, that's nothing for you. He's gassing. Every minute that goes by, he's gassing. Don't wait in front. The jabs are killing him all day.
Mark Henry fired up. And here you see why. Corey Anderson with a nice kick to the body. Just tremendous output by Corey Anderson this round. Really sensed Latifi was tiring and really poured it on. It was an excellent round for Corey Anderson. It really showcased his endurance and his technique.
And Mark Henry looking for a source of motivation for Corey Anderson. You might have heard him say, think about CJ. That is Corey's son, who is almost 3 years old. His wife, Jenny, 7 months pregnant as well. There may be more skilled heavyweights in this light heavyweight division, but few work as hard as Corey Anderson, and we'll see if he can lean on that conditioning here over the final 5 minutes.
Keep on your rise. Don't wait punch your head. Keep your head off his floor. Keep your head off his floor. That's it. He just wants the floor. That's your 3 blues. Keep that egg, Corey. Corey, you're waiting for it.
Both of these fighters lifelong wrestlers. Latifi, former Swedish national team member. Anderson unofficially is yet to attempt a takedown in the fight, somewhat surprisingly. But I guess given the matchup, maybe not.
I think there was one in the last round that he attempted.
I thought so too.
He's smart about it, though. He picks it at the right time when it's open. He's not forcing shots, and that's why he's conserving energy well and able to use his feints and his jab and his kicks while he's in the stand-up realm because he's not blowing his energy forcing shots.
Oh, there's that calf kick again.
Surprised he got away from that calf kick, to be honest.
He just wobbled a little bit there. It might have, that one that just landed might have been damaging.
It's weird about that kick is it turns your shin off when you don't know. It doesn't hurt as bad as it just shuts your foot off and then you can't walk with it. So you never know what it's going to do when you get hit there.
And that shin eventually comes back, or not necessarily?
It takes a few seconds. Depends on how badly you get damaged there. I've seen fights where it comes back, and I've seen fights where they just lay on the floor and it doesn't come back.
Well, a good example of it was the Henry Cejudo Mighty Mouse fight. The second fight, Mighty Mouse connected with that calf kick very early on, and Cejudo's foot just went limp.
Yep.
It just stopped working. Oh, he stunned him.
And that's the break. That's where he's had the openings, is on the breaks, because Corey Anderson comes out with his hands down and his chin up.
But meanwhile, Corey ate it, and he's still there pressing forward. And Latifi's taking some big, deep breaths. But man, he just looks to explode.
Well, what he's doing right now is he's pulling Corey Anderson into his power by backing up and circling him the way he wants to land. However, Corey Anderson's doing the right thing by feinting and using long strikes.
Mark Henry freaking out every time Anderson lowers those hands. Such a huge 2.5 minutes here in terms of this light heavyweight division. 2 top 10 contenders.
There's that jab again by Corey.
And see those high kicks that he's throwing, the left high kicks, they might not be landing, but it's shutting down the right hand of Latifi. He's got to put his hand up and block instead of fire it. So it's really helping that he's doing those high kicks the way he is.
All right, let's listen into that Corey Anderson corner one final time.
Keep your head off his forward. Keep your head off his forward. That's all. He's waiting. Where's that blue? Where's that blue?
The 9 is there all day. D9. Please, Corey.
There's a nice right hand.
Nice, Corey. Head position. Head position.
Rats. 120. He's just waiting for
Anderson resets just over a minute to go in this third and final round.
Being very patient.
That heel appeared to land right behind the ear. Anderson seemed to be okay.
He's trying to get it back.
Corey Anderson's chin is held up extremely well. He's eaten some huge shots in this fight that he's gone down for in the past, and he's not here. So whatever he's doing, maybe it was his cardio's better in this fight. He hasn't seemed to weather at all in this fight. His pace has stayed the same. So I think cardio has a huge contribution to a chin.
I think you're correct, and I also think he's dealing with the momentum of coming off that Glover Teixeira victory. He really feels like he's got a tremendous amount of improvement behind him now, and there's a nice right hand. He's just a better fighter all around.
Watch out, though, because this is when Latifi's dangerous, right? Last 30 seconds. You never know. This guy's got power in both hands at all times. Anderson using that jab, being very smart, staying rangy. Fought an extremely smart fight.
Oh,
nice stick. So Corey Anderson and Ilir Latifi go the distance. This fight replay is brought to you by Nemiroff, a bold character since 1872.
And here's the first round, that calf kick over and over again. That was a successful weapon in that first round. There's a nice left hand from Latifi. And now second round, Anderson with a kick to the body. There's a nice left hook. Really started coming on strong in the second round. And there's a nasty left hand by Latifi. Beautiful right hand by Corey Anderson. Excellent fight.
Tonight's stats are brought to you by Poker Stars, the undisputed champion of online poker. Knock your opponents out to take home millions of prizes every day on Poker Stars. You see the numbers in round one close. Obviously, the huge second round for Corey Anderson. And he also doubled up on Latifi in that third and final round. Dom, I know you're not a judge, but you think Corey Anderson did enough?
Corey Anderson outstruck Latifi 2-1 pretty much, and he did everything he needed to do to win. I think Latifi landed the bigger, more strong shots, but Corey Anderson outnumbered him by a strong amount.
It has been a huge 2018 for Corey Anderson. 2 wins over Pat Cummins and Glover Teixeira after the knockout losses in 2017. Tonight, he's trying to wrap up a perfect 2018 at 3-0 and potentially take Latifi's spot in the top 5. The official decision is brought to you by Metro by T-Mobile. Get unlimited high-speed data all month long on the same network as T-Mobile. All right, with the scorecards now, we turn it over to Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for decision. All 3 judges score this contest 29-28 for the winner by unanimous decision, Corey Overtime Anderson.
8-1-5, motherfuckers. That's what I'm talking about. Hump day. Hump day.
Very exciting, Corey Anderson. Congratulations, sir. This was a huge victory for you, Corey.
Yes, it was. It was a very huge victory, not just for me, for my team. We talked about it. We had a lot of big fights that we let slip out of our hands, and today we came prepared. Hats off to Latifi. Man's a fucking beast. I've been watching since I got in the UFC, and I have the honor to share the octagon with him. Thank you.
You fought an excellent fight because you weathered the storm in the early rounds. He's very dangerous, a powerful guy, but really in the second round, we started seeing you come on strong.
Yeah, you know, but first, I gotta give thanks to the Lord, Heavenly Father, and my family for coming out here. It means a lot. That was my motivation. My wife, 7 months pregnant. As you guys see, we had all the travel with John Jones going on, but she stuck with me strong throughout the whole thing. Baby, I love you. We're gonna go home, we're gonna have a good time. But that's the second round, you know, everybody knows I can keep going. You know, it took me a second, I was feeling flat. Coaches yelled at me, said, we gotta get this, Corey. Give me the Corey we know, and we got it done.
Well, this is really a showcase of your endurance, and particularly your footwork and your technique. It's one of the best performances to date. What would you, you're coming off of 2 outstanding victories in a row. What would you like to do next?
I want Anthony Smith. You know, I would like to say I won a title fight. I know they're not giving it to me. Anthony Smith came out of nowhere. He's ranked 3rd. I see you sitting behind the TV right now, and you see me looking, baby. Come get me. After my baby born, let's get this.
Congratulations, sir. Corey Anderson, ladies and gentlemen.
The artist formerly known as Beaston, 25-8, maximizing the mic time with Joe Rogan. The soon-to-be father of 2, Corey Anderson, has won 3 in a row at light heavyweight. A lot of celebs out tonight. Musician of Blink-182 fame, Travis Barker in the building. The 2018 National League MVP representing your Milwaukee Brewers, Christian Yelich is here. And there is T-City, the #1 ranked featherweight contender, Brian Ortega, octagon side here at the Forum tonight. All right, straight ahead, it will be a welterweight clash between the natural-born killer, Carlos Condit, and Michael Maverick Chiesa. What's coming up? Brought to you by EA Sports UFC 3. Get 2 games for the price of 1 with the EA Sports UFC 3 Fight Night Champion Bundle, available for $24 exclusively on Xbox One for a limited time. Well, 2018 turned out to be an incredible year, both in and outside the octagon, and 2019 should be no different as the UFC embarks on a new era on a new network.
For the last 25 years, the UFC has evolved, expanded, and risen to extraordinary heights.
This year, the world's premier MMA organization opened an exciting new chapter in company history by striking a groundbreaking deal with the worldwide leader in sports.
It's a revolution, I suppose.
Beginning in January 2019, the UFC's exclusive U.S. media rights partner will be ESPN, recognized around the globe as the pinnacle of sports broadcasting. As part of the ESPN family, the UFC will stand shoulder to shoulder with the NFL, the NBA, Major League Baseball, and all the biggest sports brands on earth. This deal will take the UFC to a whole new level, and you've all played a major part in getting us there. So today, we say to our fans, thank you for all you've done, and get ready for what lies ahead.
Setting the mixed martial arts world on its axis.
I don't know what's going to happen, but I do know it's going to be fireworks.
Well, how good is that? The worldwide leader and the MMA leader, and you might hear in the backdrop the new theme song for the UFC on ESPN as we show you our 2019 first quarter schedule, January 19th. We begin the partnership UFC Fight Night on ESPN Plus from Brooklyn, New York. Fortaleza, Brazil, February 2nd, February 9th, back to pay-per-view UFC 234. We also point out March 9th. Welcome to Wichita, UFC Fight Night on ESPN Plus. Breaking news at this time, we'll be in Wichita, Kansas for the first time. London, England, March 16th. March 23rd, another ESPN Plus UFC Fight Night. And back on TV, March 30th. Quarter 2. A lot of highlights as well. All of these fight cards and locations to be determined later, but UFC 236, Saturday, April 13th. May 11th, UFC 237, and June 8th will be UFC 238. We could not be more excited to embark on the ESPN era in 2019. Well, everyone is tuning into UFC 232 tonight. Live look inside Twin Peaks on the Vegas Strip. The Black Beast, Derek Lewis. His ball's no longer hot. He's enjoying the fights and a few Modelos with UFC fans tonight. A few thousand miles away in Las Vegas. All right, tonight's Crowd Shots brought to you by PokerStars, the undisputed champion of online poker. Knock your opponents out to take home millions of prizes every day on PokerStars. All right, let us get to it. Featured bout here in the UFC's always stacked welterweight division. While former lightweight contender Michael Chiesa has always been a fan of Carlos Condit, tonight he will put the congeniality aside as he shares the octagon with the one, the only, the natural-born killer. A former Ultimate Fighter winner and longtime lightweight standout, Michael Chiesa will test the welterweight waters tonight as he squares off with former interim champion Carlos Condit in a bout that is destined to deliver.
It's an honor to fight such a legend in the sport, but I got to put that aside and I got to go out there and get this win.
Mike Chiesa is an interesting puzzle to solve, and sitting down and looking at his fights, I really feel like brutality and violence going straight through him is the key to victory for me.
One of the top welterweights of this era, Albuquerque's Carlos Condit was a longtime WEC champion before making his move to the UFC. Here he struck interim gold in 2012 with a win over Nick Diaz. And tonight, after a recent cold spell, the natural-born killer will try to produce against an opponent of a similar mind.
I've been in a bit of a slump, and I'm looking to break that. And straight through Michael Chiesa's chest is the way that I'm going to do it.
Winner of the only live season of The Ultimate Fighter and 7 UFC fights overall, Michael Chiesa turned back the likes of Beneil Dariush, Jim Miller, and Al Iaquinta to establish himself as a lightweight contender. But in a quest to keep testing himself and at his optimum weight, Maverick is moving up to tackle the best welterweights in the world, starting tonight with Carlos Condit.
I wanted my first fight at welterweight to be against a tough opponent, and I've always wanted to face and get a win over a former world champion. And I'm getting all of that and more in Carlos Condit.
Great representative of Washington State. Here is the former lightweight contender, Michael Maverick Chiesa, 31 years old, and tonight he moves up to the welterweight division for the first time. It was a weight cut that nearly broke him, and after missing weight for his final lightweight fight against Anthony Showtime Pettis in July, he essentially, Joe, said on the scale, no more, I'm moving up. And tonight, Michael Chiesa is taking on a big challenge in the former interim welterweight champion, Carlos Condit.
I think this is the correct move for him. He's huge. I mean, he's way too big to be cutting his body down to 155 pounds all the time. It was hitting that point of diminishing return.
Yes.
His performances were suffering, and he just felt absolutely terrible the last week of fight camp. I think he's a 170-pounder. I think he makes his weight easily, and I think this is a fantastic fight for him tonight against Carlos Condit. Condit needs it. As he said, he's been in a slump. Michael Chiesa most certainly needs it. I just think this is the best weight class for him, and I can't wait to see how he does here.
Yeah, I love Michael Chiesa because this weight class is just fit for him in the sense that he's a grappler. That's what he wants to do. He's strong. He wants to get a hold of you and choke you. And if he can't choke you, he wants to keep you on the mat. In order to do that, he needs to be as strong as possible because that's what fits his style. He's not on the outside, be faster than you, explode. He's, I will grab you, I will hold you, and I will choke you, or I will break your arms or break your legs. And he will need all the power in order to do that. So I love this move for him.
Chiesa has taken down 10 of his 11 UFC opponents. Condit has been susceptible in the past. With a fan base as big as really any fighter on this roster, as respected as any fighter on this roster, he is the natural-born killer, Carlos Condit. 43rd professional fight here tonight and 16th UFC appearance. Dom, his recent struggles are well documented, but he seems to be in the right mental headspace as he tries to get the job done here tonight.
I don't think a whole lot has changed with Carlos Condit and his mind or how he fights. I think it's just been a matter of being out a little while and needing to make the adjustments to the sport as this sport has continued to progress. I mean, Carlos Condit is one of the greatest ever, period.
ultimate finisher, always creates violence and always enjoys to do that, always creates blood and war. However, he has the speed advantage in this matchup, and I think that that's what he has to be smart enough to use. Michael Chiesa needs to be strong and drag him to the floor. Carlos Condit needs to be smart, quick, choose his punch count correctly, set his kicks up, and walk Michael Chiesa into a lot of technique, of strikes, just overwhelm him with offense and stop the takedown, or at least threaten submissions to get back to his feet. If he gets held on his back, it's going to be a problem. That's the only way we've seen Condit lose.
This fighter description brought to you by P3, the official protein snack of UFC.
I think Carlos Condit has a significant advantage when it comes to striking. I think he's a crisper striker. I think he's a more experienced striker. He's got a much more of a background in it. And I'm really curious to see how his grappling holds up against Michael Chiesa. But I mirror your position on him just getting back into the game and realizing that this sport continues to grow and evolve. He's absolutely a great former WEC champion, former interim champion. Just got to get back on the horse. But he's only 34 years old. His time is not done.
That's exactly right, Joe.
All right, we have arrived at this featured bout in the welterweight division. This Tale of the Tape brought to you by Modelo, brewed for those with a fighting spirit. As the fellas mentioned, Condit 34, Michael Maverick Chiesa 31. Condit the taller man by an inch. You see Chiesa making weight for this, his UFC welterweight debut. Both fighters with a reach of 75.5 inches. All right, now for the particulars, back inside of Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this fight is 3 rounds in the UFC welterweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, a mixed martial artist holding a professional record, 14 wins, 4 losses. He stands 6 feet 1 inch tall, weighing in at 170.5 pounds. Fighting out of Spokane Valley, Washington, presenting the Ultimate Fighter Season 15 winner and the number 9 ranked lightweight contender in the world, Michael Maverick Chiesa! And now introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, a mixed martial artist holding a professional record, 30 wins, 12 losses. He stands 6 feet 2 inches tall, weighing in at 171 pounds. Fighting out of Albuquerque, New Mexico, presenting the former WEC welterweight champion and the former interim UFC welterweight champion, the natural-born killer, Carlos Condit! And when the action begins, our referee in charge, Mike Beltran.
Mike Beltran, our referee for this one at welterweight. These fight odds brought to you by Poker Stars, the undisputed champion of online poker. Knock your opponents out to take home millions of prizes every day on Poker Stars. Condit, the plus 140 dog. Chiesa, the minus 150 favorite as he moves up to welterweight tonight.
You ready to fight? You ready to fight? Let's go.
And with that touch, we are underway. The fight clock is brought to you by Modelo, brewed for those with a fighting spirit. Condit is in the black trunks. Chiesa is in green.
Chiesa looking for the clinch here. He looks absolutely enormous. I mean, it's hard to imagine that that guy needs to make 155 pounds.
He can wrestle, too. It's not just jiu-jitsu. So this is where Condit has had trouble, is guys that can take him down and hold him down. And that's pretty much the only times he's really had a tough time winning, because his striking is phenomenal, and everybody's caught on to that. So they're holding him down on the mat, and they're forcing him to use his jiu-jitsu. Will Chiesa be able to do that? Trip. Because Condit is very threatening on his back, but he hasn't shown the same threats as the past. And is that because of the progression of the game? That's the question. We'll
I think
find
it was
out.
the quality of the opposition. I think when you look at the guys at the armbar, at the stage that they were at in their career, I don't think they had the technical proficiency on the ground that Michael Chiesa does. But you see that he just avoids that and immediately goes to the back.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, has the sport just progressed this much that these transitions are different now for Condit?
But he's looking for a leg lock here. Chiesa's got to spin out, and he does, but Condit runs up on top. Nicely done by Condit.
And this is exactly the type of fight that Chiesa wants. He wants to keep it like rolling tumbleweed, just non-stop brawling and hanging and grueling.
Just the fact that he's able to stay connected to him like this is a huge victory for him. That he doesn't have to, try to get that clinch from the center of the octagon.
He's so strong here. He's done this. We saw him on The Ultimate Fighter do this to pretty much every opposition he faced. He grabs a hold of you. He doesn't let go of you, and it's like glue. It's like putting your hands into a glue, and you just can't get it off of you. And Condit needs to dig for underhooks here and create some space. Otherwise, he's going to stay here the whole match.
Another takedown from Michael Chiesa.
Yeah, I would imagine this is not Carlos Condit's game plan coming into this fight. I would imagine that his game plan, even though he is a sensational grappler in his own right, he has an advantage striking, at least on paper.
Well, watching Condit on the ground in the past has always been fun, so I'm glad that this fight is on the ground. This is one of those fights that you can enjoy watching because they're both very strategic and sharp.
Nemiroff, bold character since 1872. Carlos Condit has now been taken down in 18 of his 21 combined UFC and WEC appearances. 2.5 minutes have gone by in round one.
Right now, Chiesa just looks far stronger than Condit is what I've seen so far. Just the power advantage so far has been big. Condit can use his technique, and he's very flexible, and that's also hard to deal with when you're on top of him.
Well, he must feel so good that he doesn't have to suck 15 more pounds out of his body. I mean, he was really torturing himself to do that.
I mean, you could tell because he's bigger moving up in weight class.
Yeah.
That's how you know you're really torturing yourself.
Well, I think there's a lot of guys out there doing that. I mean, we've seen it with so many fighters. They move up a weight class, and you see their real true potential.
Nice.
Look at this.
Beautiful. The timing of it was perfect.
That looks pretty good.
Let's see if he can go under through the other side because he might want to twist through, take his head to the other ankle of Chiesa. Oh, he's got it. He's in. He's in.
Oh! That was close, ladies and gentlemen.
Did he just lose the hand, Joe? Is that what we saw there?
That was very close. Yeah, he didn't have full control of the arm, but man, it was extended. It was extended, and it was in a bad place where the forearm could have snapped.
Well, we do know that he's got the hips for it. That's the second time he's attempted it. Got closer on that attempt than the first one.
Another takedown by Chiesa.
And this has been the issue for Condit, is the lack of wrestling. Not the jiu-jitsu, but the wrestling. He gets held on his back and then gets stuck searching for submissions. And if he doesn't get the finish, then he generally loses by points.
Yeah, he's in a position right now we call an empty quarter guard, or empty half, rather. He doesn't quite have a half guard. Okay, now he's completely out of that. He's got to roll. He's got to try to keep rolling, but Chiesa's trying to take his back. Good scramble by Carlos Condit. He's attacking a leg that doesn't quite have the heel, but he's looking for it. Oh, wait a minute. This is not good for Chiesa. But he's doing a great job of rolling out of it. He's safe now.
And this honestly shows you how good Ryan Hall is at this position, because it was over already. This position is very tough to submit from.
The fighters exchanging ground strikes here, under 20 seconds to go in the round.
Yeah, this is a big scramble. Look at this. Condit winds up on top.
Look for the reverse triangle here.
Look at this.
High-level grappling right there, ladies and
Very,
gentlemen.
very interesting. There's that inside trip by Michael Chiesa, gets him down on the ground. And here's Carlos Condit going for that arm bar, but you see he used that leg to help him escape. But that was close, very close.
Dude. Just settle in. You gotta be a little more boring. Get on top on the leg lock. Okay. Don't play around too much in there, just get on top. Okay. All you have to do, think about is get on top. Yes, sir. Just be smarter in the guard, dude. Yes, sir. You're fooling around a little too much. Okay. Just bore it down a little bit. Okay. Got it? Yes, sir. But these takedowns are too easy, man. You can have your way in round 2 and 3. Okay. Be smart.
Keep hunting, keep hunting.
Low and
Let's get it done.
Let's go. Take over right here. He's breaking. He's breaking.
Carlos, I think that round was ours. We had all the submission attempts.
UFC 232, Jones versus Gustafsson 2 is brought to you by Modelo, brewed for those with a fighting spirit. Round 2 forthcoming. Carlos Condit and Michael Chiesa.
All right, gentlemen, round 2.
23 submission wins between them.
I'd love to go on Carlos Condit's corner and say Michael Chiesa is not breaking. Keep your head sharp, Condit. He's in this fight.
Yeah, I didn't see him breaking.
Not at all.
I saw some awesome grappling exchanges.
Definitely.
Look at Chiesa moving forward, though. Excellent punches by Chiesa.
The kicks are going to be an issue if Condit can throw him. But he's not getting the opportunity because Chiesa's just on him in the grappling.
Yeah, and Chiesa's so odd with his, look at that, man. But the way he grabs a hold, he's like an octopus.
Well, the other thing is Condit's corner was saying to punt, and I'm guessing that means that teep kick up the middle to keep space. However, that's a perfect segue for a takedown, and that's what happened there.
Chiesa's going to lock up a Kimura here, folks. This is not good. This is not good. This is very bad.
That's it. That's it. Oh,
this is very, very bad
on the shoulder.
Well, it doesn't happen anymore.
There's a tap. Michael Chiesa submits.
I hope his shoulder's okay. That looks bad.
Oh, man.
That's bad.
Yeah, he's hurting.
He tore something in there.
He's hurting. It looked like he was doing it with one arm. Am I correct?
He was. He twisted it out and then used his weight against him, so he trapped the arm by pushing down into the arm the way he did.
And he trapped it at the very end. He submitted him with one arm. Let's take a look at that again. That was really interesting. You could tell right away when he locked it up, he was fresh. It was the beginning of the round, and it was strong. It was very tight.
He's strong.
He's very, very strong. When he pulled it behind his back like that, it looked nasty.
This fight replay brought to you by Nemiroff, bold character since 1872.
So there was the front kick. There's the clinch. Gets him down easily to the ground. Now, look at this. When he ties up this Kimura and he spins it around behind his back, man, this is nasty right here. This is tremendous pressure on the shoulder. But look, he extends it behind him and uses his left lat to push down and put all that pressure on the shoulder.
Yeah, see how he holds the hip? He's pushing the hip back so he can't correct himself with his hip position.
That is nasty.
It's smart. That's sharp stuff by Chiesa.
So a great start to the welterweight tenure for Michael Chiesa. The official decision brought to you by Metro by T-Mobile. Get unlimited high-speed data all month long on the same network as T-Mobile. Here now, the veteran voice of the Octagon, Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Mike Beltran has called a stop to this contest at 56 seconds of round number 2. Declaring the winner by submission due to a Kimura, Michael Maverick Chiesa. Ladies and gentlemen, referee Mike Beltran has called a stop to this contest at 56 seconds of round number 2. Declaring the winner by submission due to a Kimura, Michael Maverick Chiesa.
I love you, Mom. I love you.
I'm here with the winner, Michael Chiesa. First of all, congratulations. How the hell did you ever make 155 pounds?
You know, I was asking myself the same thing when I was going through this whole fight week. This is my division, and I just showed I am a top 15 fighter. Bar none, hands down, doesn't matter what division I'm in, I'm one of the best in the world.
Well, you clearly showed today that you belong at 170 pounds. You looked huge, and you really physically manhandled him on the ground. Were you surprised at that?
I know Carlos is tough as heck, but I know I was holding myself back all these years at my kind of 55. I know how strong I am. I know what I do in the gym. It was just time I started executing here in the Octagon.
Well, let's take a look at the finish, because this was a very unusual submission. You locked up a Kimura, but then you finished it one-armed. Have you done that before?
I do that a lot in the gym. I'm a very strong competitor, Joe. I just haven't shown it with this weight cut. It's really been holding me back. I found my groove. Me and Rick Little, 11 years, we've been training together. We've been doing great. We're finally showing what we're capable of. And Newborn Jiu-Jitsu back home. James Weed, thank you for the help this camp.
I think you clearly showed that this is the right weight class for you. Congratulations on a huge victory, and I look forward to seeing more success in the welterweight division.
Hey, thank you, Joe. Neil Magny, I'll see you soon. It's you and me next.
Michael Chiesa, ladies and gentlemen.
Michael Maverick Chiesa with the biggest win of his UFC career here tonight. These stats brought to you by Poker Stars, the undisputed champion of online poker. Knock your opponents out to take home millions of prizes every day on Poker Stars. Not much in terms of the striking, but Chiesa was able to take Carlos Condit down on 4 of his 5 attempts, 3+ minutes of top position time, and the fight-ending Kimura there in round 2 for the newly minted welterweight contender, Michael Chiesa. Well, a lot of these famous people like to live in Los Angeles and California. How about the UFC Hall of Famer Chuck Liddell? Actor Dolph Lundgren in the building as well. Oh, and that's not all. The Soldier of God, Yoel Romero, the #1 ranked middleweight contender in the building here tonight. And then mixed martial arts royalty, the UFC Hall of Famer. A country boy can survive. Matt Hughes, Octagon side here tonight at the Forum. All right, coming up next, hard to believe we are here already, but it'll be the first meeting between reigning women's champions in UFC history, Chris Cyborg and Amanda Nunes. What's coming up? Brought to you by EA Sports UFC 3. Get 2 games for the price of 1 with the EA Sports UFC 3 Fight Night Champion Bundle, available for $24 exclusively on Xbox One for a limited time. Well, January 19th, we will be in Brooklyn, New York, as one of the top pound-for-pound fighters in the world, TJ Dillashaw, looks to join the short list of 2-division UFC champions. Henry Cejudo looking to change the course of sports history.
Good left hand by Cejudo. Oh!
Olympic champion, now UFC champion. Now give me the best at 135 pounds.
2-time UFC bantamweight champion. Dillashaw has done it again! And you might be looking at the greatest 135-pound fighter of all time.
Cejudo, I think I walk right through you. If you want to fight me, I'm coming for you.
The UFC flyweight title will be on the line.
Champion versus champion, the super fight.
He knows who the best champ is. He knows who's #1. Oh! And I'm going to prove that I'm the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world.
I have the strength, I have the wrestling, I have the power to knock him out.
He's there! Henry Cejudo!
I'm coming for you, I'm getting that belt. I'm here to knock you out.
A fight for the ages.
2 fantastic champions.
It's do or die.
Henry Cejudo versus TJ Dillashaw, Greg Hardy, Alan Crowder. I mean, Gregor Gillespie, Yancy Medeiros. That fight right there is Yancy Medeiros, and his stand-up has been incredible. Gregor Gillespie has been smashing people with the wrestling. Paige Van Zandt comes back versus Rachel Ostovich, and Glover Teixeira versus Ion Cutelaba. I mean, the biggest fight on this card would obviously, in my opinion, have to be that 125-pound matchup at the top. Henry Cejudo, the gold medalist, versus TJ Dillashaw, someone I'm familiar with. The striker, fully with kicks, punches, takedowns, everything, and the Olympic champion Henry Cejudo. Let's see how this creates differences at 125.
Yeah, this is a fantastic matchup, and TJ Dillashaw is apparently making 125 pounds easily. I think that this is one of the very best matchups we've ever seen in the flyweight division. Because TJ can make this weight class, we get to see his footwork, his striking, the movement, all that combined with the world-class wrestling that Henry Cejudo brings to the table, and his improved striking, plus him coming off of that rich victory over TJ. He's going to be so pumped up and have so much momentum behind him. I can't wait for that fight.
So January 19th, that main card you just saw will be on ESPN+. The prelims will be on ESPN TV. Here is that lineup. A lot of big names, of course. And bantamweight John Lineker against Corey Sandhagen, Jojo Calderwood, welcoming the highly touted Ariane Lipski to the UFC. And the featured prelim, Donald Cowboy Cerrone and Alexander Hernandez. Tonight's Crowd Shots brought to you by Poker Stars, the undisputed champion of online poker. Knock your opponents out to take home millions of prizes every day on Poker Stars. Women's pound-for-pound rankings brought to you by EA Sports UFC 3. Get 2 games for the price of 1 with the EA Sports UFC 3 Fight Night Champion Bundle, available for $24 exclusively on Xbox One for a limited time. It is champion versus champion in a true super fight tonight. Featherweight authority Chris Cyborg putting her title on the line against bantamweight champion Amanda Nunes in this historic all-Brazilian showdown.
Chris Cyborg is in a very difficult position as the UFC's featherweight champion. It's incredibly difficult to find challenges for her. And every single woman that has stepped into that octagon with her has gotten their brains beat in. And she's absolutely the most feared woman in the history of the sport.
Oh, several flush knees now.
That's it. Oh.
And I think when you be face to face and they start touching her, she's gonna feel the difference. I don't think she never fight somebody like me.
If there's one woman that stands out as a threat, it is UFC bantamweight champion Amanda Nunes. Amanda Nunes has vicious knockout power, and she is a true champion.
Boom! This is definitely the most female super fight. You know, the two champions, and it's gonna be awesome.
That's it! That's it!
I text Dan White like, I wanted this fight because I don't have nobody in my division. Dan White giving me this opportunity, and he know I'll be able to do this, and I will prove it.
Let's see that.
When I connect, I will be able to knock her out, and if I take her down, I will submit her.
She's got the choke. She's got the choke. Hit it! It's all over!
After I beat her, nobody gonna see her as the champion 135. Everybody gonna remember how I beat her. She's asking 9 months for training for this fight. And I say, what? If somebody go to your house now, lock the door, say, man, I want to kick your You're gonna say, okay, wait. I have to do 100 push-ups. I have to do bag work. I need to start running. No, we have to be ready for doing this.
I want to challenge. All the girls don't do that because they might be scared of Cyborg. I'm not.
UFC Women's Bantamweight Champion Amanda the Lioness Nunes. She has been in a lot of big spots before against the likes of Ronda Rousey and Miesha Tate. None bigger than the spot she is in tonight as Nunes faces Chris Cyborg Joe and attempts to become just the third simultaneous two-division UFC champion.
I think the key to victory for her is going to be, first of all, getting Chris Cyborg's respect. She's got to connect, and she's got to hurt her. Two, I think she's got to extend this fight into the third, fourth, and fifth round. And I think she's got to fight it at a very fast pace. If you look at what she did with Raquel Pennington, there was a lot of movement, a lot of in and out, constant attacking, stinging her when she can, and then backing out of any counter strikes. She needs to do that plus. She needs to be perfect. She needs to be at her very best, because she's dealing with a woman who's got real freakish proportions. I mean, she's an enormous woman. For 145 pounds, she's cutting down from north of 180 pounds. She's a powerhouse. She's got incredible amount of experience as a striker, and she's terrifying.
Tonight's Prep Point is brought to you by Modelo, brewed for those with a fighting spirit.
Now for Nunes, she has to be very mobile, like you were saying, Joe, but that's not really part of her arsenal. So that means that she's got to be quick and technical with her striking. Like you said, she needs to be able to earn the respect of Cyborg. She has to. She has to meet her in the middle and hit her with some power shots, because if she can do that, that gives her the shot to be able to get a takedown, which is another thing I think she's going to need, at least a takedown around, to be able to offset Cyborg's striking and make her think about something besides, I'm going to run through you, Nunes has to mix in the takedowns, mix in the movement, be quicker, be more technical. Otherwise, it's going to be a tough fight because Cyborg has a huge size advantage.
So after 3 successful title defenses down at 135 pounds, Amanda Nunes is moving up and trying to carve out a piece of UFC history here tonight against Cyborg. champion, former Strikeforce champion, now the undisputed UFC Women's Featherweight champion. Dom, she is unbeaten since her pro debut in 2005. And prevailing wisdom is, despite all that Nunes has accomplished, it is going to take a Herculean effort here tonight for her to beat this woman, Cyborg.
Well, that's right, John. I mean, Cyborg has been unbeaten for a long time, and it's not by accident. It's not just her skill set, it's her mentality, the people she trains with, and the level of intensity and focus that she has in her training at all times. She never deviates. She's a true professional. She always keeps her weight on. She always makes weight, even though she's enormous for the weight class. She shows up in shape every time, and she never deviates. She's consistently on. And that is something that you don't see in a lot of champions, a lot of fighters in general. But in this division, she has become women's mixed martial arts because of these habits, these professional habits she has. And then on top of that, she has the mentality to go in and just run through everybody, believes that she's basically a bulldozer in every division of women. And that's basically how she's shown up. Can Amanda Nunes break that bulldozer is the question, or dismantle it?
She really is the most feared woman in the history of the sport, without any question. I mean, there's some excellent video of her boxing with Clarissa Shields, who's a world champion and a phenomenal boxer. And even though she's not getting the better of the exchanges, there's no other women that can hang with that woman like that. I mean, Cyborg is a terrifying force in women's MMA. She's a destroyer. You look at how she fought Holly Holm, ate Holly's best shots and just walked right through her. The question is, can she eat the shots of Amanda Nunes like that? Right. Can she press forward the same way with Amanda? Because when you look at her now, as she's regained all of her weight, as she enters into the octagon after the weight cut, she looks huge. She looks 10, 15 pounds bigger than Amanda easily.
At least. And you saw her good friend Halle Berry, the A-lister, taking in the action here tonight. The women's super fight is upon us. This Tale of the Tape is brought to you by Modelo, brewed for those with a fighting spirit. Cyborg, 33. Amanda Nunes is 30 years of age. Both women 5'8" tall. Both women successfully made weight. 1-inch reach advantage with the Lioness, the challenger, Amanda Nunes. Now for the introductions, here's Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this championship bout is presented by Motel 6. When you're ready to tap out, book online at motel6.com. We'll leave the light on for you. And Litecoin, the official cryptocurrency of UFC 232. Take control of your money and pay with Litecoin. PokerStars, the undisputed champion of online poker, knock your opponents out to take home millions of prizes every day on PokerStars. Our three judges scoring this contest are Derek Cleary, Dave Hagen, and Michael Bell. And when the action begins, our referee in charge of the Octagon, Mark Goddard. And now, this fight is 5 rounds for the undisputed UFC Featherweight Championship of the World. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, a striker holding a professional record, 16 wins, 4 losses. She stands 5 feet 8 inches tall, weighing in at 145 pounds. Fighting out of Miami, Florida, by way of Bahia, Brazil, presenting the undisputed UFC bantamweight champion of the world, the challenger, Amanda, the Lioness Nunes. And now introducing the champion, fighting out of the red corner, a mixed martial artist holding a professional record, 20 wins, 1 loss, 1 no contest. She stands 5 feet 8 inches tall, weighing in at 144 pounds. Fighting out of Huntington Beach, California, by way of Curitiba, Brazil, presenting the former Strikeforce World Champion and the reigning, defending, undisputed UFC Featherweight Champion of the World, Cyborg.
Okay, ladies, you understand the rules you fight under. You listen to me at all times. You keep yourself protected. When I say stop, you stop. If you want to touch gloves, do it now. Let's do it.
The intensity in this arena is palpable. These soon-to-be closing odds brought to you by Poker Stars, the undisputed champion of online poker. Knock your opponents out to take home millions of prizes every day on Poker Stars. Cris Cyborg for her last fight, minus 1,600. She is minus 240 tonight. Amanda Nunes comes back at plus 220. Here we go, folks. The fight clock brought to you by Modelo, brew for those with a fighting spirit. Amanda Nunes is in the white with gold trim. Cris Cyborg is in the black with gold.
Amanda Nunes has deceptively long punches. She catches you at the very end of them, and she's got serious power. Whoa! They're getting after it.
I like to see Nunes go straight with the jab and be strategic. Nice.
Oh, Nunes! She really dropped Cyborg!
She hurt her!
Cyborg's hurt!
She's hurt bad!
Nunes said she could knock her out. We're seeing that now it's real.
She's hurt after Nunes!
She's still got her down.
Cyborg nearly out on her feet!
She did it!
Cris Cyborg out cold! No!
She did it!
Amanda Nunes has torn the mixed martial arts world out of
And she was
Texas
too
tonight!
fast. It was too fast. She was too fast for her. She was too fast for Cyborg. That was the difference. Cyborg was throwing with reckless abandonment. And Nunes was able to strike right down the middle and connect over and over.
That was insane.
Amanda Nunes.
Out of all the potential outcomes, first round KO by Amanda Nunes like that, all the things that we've said in the past, that Nunes has ridiculous knockout power, man, did you see it tonight? Wow.
She essentially ended the careers of Miesha Tate and Ronda Rousey, and tonight she stops the Cyborg train in its tracks, and very well right now as we sit here December 29th, 2018, can lay claim to being the greatest women's mixed martial artist of all time. What a result, Joe Rogan.
100%. She's the best ever. The fact that she just knocked out Cyborg, she's number one. I mean, that is just amazing. To have knocked out Ronda Rousey in the first round and Cris Cyborg in the first round, two of the biggest names in the history of the sport. She's incredible.
Cyborg came in too heavy, too strong.
This fight replay is brought to you by Nemiroff, bold characters since 1872.
As Cyborg went, she just threw with reckless abandonment. We saw Nunes with no fear trade with her and just able to connect sharper and just as strong. Overhand, left hook, overhand, left hook. Cyborg falls to the knees and she continues to punch her as she falls to the knees over and over in this last one. Bam! Straight on the temple. Finally finishes Cyborg and she's out. And that is what happens when you don't respect the power of everybody with 4-ounce gloves. Cyborg thought she could walk right through and brawl, and she paid. Nunes landing the bigger, sharper punches earlier in the match.
Amanda Nunes sends Cris Cyborg face first to the canvas. She becomes the third simultaneous two-division UFC champion and the first woman to simultaneously hold two UFC championships. And what an embrace from the two Brazilians. There was no bad blood. Obviously, this rivalry had some intensity, Dominic, but what an emotional moment there. Cris Cyborg, all class in defeat. The same can be said of Amanda Nunes in victory.
I mean, this is huge, and the way Cyborg's handling, I mean, how long has it been since Cyborg's lost? And for her to be up here hugging that person, that's the difference. That's a huge deal. First ever super fight. This is monumental for women's division. This shows what women can really do.
Well, if any fighter has earned an immediate rematch, perhaps it is Cris Cyborg, but tonight belongs to Amanda Nunes. The official decision brought to you by Metro by T-Mobile. Get unlimited high-speed data all month long on the same network as T-Mobile. To make this one official, Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Mark Goddard has called a stop to this contest at 51 seconds of the very first round, declaring the winner by knockout and new undisputed UFC featherweight champion of the world, Amanda the Lioness Nunes.
I am with the winner, and not just new champ, possibly the greatest female mixed martial arts fighter ever, the first ever two-division champion, and the first person to ever knock out Chris Cyborg. How does this feel?
Incredible! Oh my God! I can handle this, guys. Helping me! Helping me! Come on, let's go!
Amanda Nunes, you just shocked the world. Did you expect this fight to go down this way?
Yeah, for sure. When I signed the contract, I say like, this is going down. I'm gonna be the first female to jump inside of the UFC. Guys, happy! I am! I told you! I am! I'm the greatest. Dana, now I have to be in the Hall of Fame.
I think you're gonna be in no matter what. Don't worry about that. Let's take a look at this victory because this was absolutely incredible. I mean, you're fighting the most feared woman in the history of the sport. You connect with this left hand and this right hand behind it. You saw her get rocked and you moved in for the kill.
Yeah, you know, I'm a lioness. Lioness do this. See the blood, go for. I'm the lioness. Also, I want to thank you, my coach, my strike coach, Anderson França. He told me that when she get desperate, put it the overhead dash, you're gonna knock her out. And my girlfriend, Nina, always there for me. You guys know that I love this girl so much. My friend Kelini, always with me. We're gonna have to have space to put another tattoo now. And Papa, this is not only my coach, I have him as a father. Thank you very much for everything. My head coach, Connor. Dan Lambert, where are you?
Where's Dan Lambert? Dan Lambert, the owner and founder of American Top Team. Now, Amanda, what was the strategy coming in here? How did you think the fight was going to play out?
Like I say, my coach always tell me, like, keep calm, you know? You're going to see everything. You have everything on you. And you have to be calm. And when you land this hand, she's going to go down. Was exactly what happened. And the kick as well. She's very heavy in the front kick. And I know when I landed that kick, everything is going to be open for me. Was exactly what happened.
What you've done tonight is nothing short of incredible. Congratulations. It was an honor to call your fight. Thank you very much. Amanda Nunes, ladies and gentlemen.
What an incredible performance from Amanda Nunes. Took her 48 seconds to dust Ronda Rousey. 51 seconds in, she knocks Chris Cyborg out cold.
I think the story really is people underestimate Nunes, and you can't do that. I don't think she'll ever be underestimated again. That was incredible, monumental, and I'm glad I could be part of it. What an awesome performance by Nunes.
Amanda Nunes now owns 2 UFC divisions. I think we're all still digesting that result tonight.
Can we watch that again?
Well, we got to get to this. Our main event, these locker room shots brought to you by P3, the official protein snack of UFC. John Jones is the most accomplished light heavyweight of all time. He has left a slew of former champions and future Hall of Famers in his wake. Tonight, he would like to dominate Alexander Gustafsson, which candidly, he was not able to do in the first meeting. Conversely, on the other side, the Mauler believes he is now a much better fighter than he was 5 years ago, and one who is ready to assume the throne and deliver to Sweden its first undisputed UFC champion. You know what, Joe Rogan? We're going to show this to you once again.
I need to see it. I need to see it. It's one of those things where after it happened, you know it happened, but you're like, did I just see that?
Well, we're going to have a rematch, so we'll see it again.
Do you think there's going to be a rematch?
I think there has to be a rematch.
Wow. Wow. Let's look at it again. Cyborg's moving him to the kill. Boom! She gets clipped. Nunes, boom! Clips him with that right hand. And what Nunes was saying to me, that she was seeing everything. That her coach told her, you're going to be calm in there and you're going to see everything. And that's exactly what happened. Look at that hammer. Just haymakers. Boom! She pushes her off. Boom! And that right hand did it all. Face plant. New featherweight champion. And the first ever female champ. I mean, that is crazy to watch, folks. That woman hits hard.
I'm telling you, amazing to think think she has 4 mixed martial arts losses, but since moving to the U.S., aligning with American top team, Amanda Nunes has been the class of women's mixed martial arts. She conquers the Cyborg puzzle tonight. All right, before watching the rematch between rivals Jones and Gustafsson, check out this clip from Happy Death Day to You, where Tree rematches with her babyface masked killer in theaters Valentine's Day.
In the UFC, rematches give fighters the chance to settle a score.
Touch gloves and let's do it.
And silence the doubters.
Oh, he got rocked!
Step back. Good luck to both of you.
Here we go! Oh! John Jones.
In my upcoming movie, Happy Death Day to You.
Okay, you're up.
My character Tree has to rematch her murderer over and over again to break free from a time loop.
All right, let's see what you got.
Well, Amanda Nunes, a tough act to follow, but we have still got the most salient of our business to attend to here tonight in Los Angeles, California. Doing a great job, by the way, as short notice host city for UFC 232 this week. And now live from the Forum in Inglewood, California, it is time for the main event for UFC 232, Jones versus Gustafsson 2. Brought to you by Modelo, brewed for those with a fighting spirit. All right, let's pull up the light heavyweight rankings, brought to you by EA Sports UFC 3. Get 2 games for the price of 1 with the EA Sports UFC 3 Fight Night Champion Bundle, available for $24 exclusively on Xbox One for a limited time. So Daniel Cormier defended the belt in this division earlier this year. He went on to become the heavyweight champion, defended that title, vacated this belt yesterday. Here and now, Joe Rogan, it'll be #1 versus #2 for the undisputed title.
Well, the reality is, as much as we love Daniel Cormier, John Jones never lost. The only time he's ever lost inside the octagon was a disqualification of the fight that he was absolutely dominant in. This is the matchup. This is the matchup. Other than DC, it's the only fight for John Jones right now. Alexander Gustafsson has incredible physical skills. He's long and tall like John. The first fight was a 5-round war that really could have gone either way. This is an amazing fight, and I cannot wait to see this, especially after what we just saw.
I'm telling you, the wait is over. Of course, as Joe referenced back in 2013, Jones and Gustafsson engaged in one of the greatest singular fights in UFC history tonight. They run it back, and the winner exits Inglewood as the undisputed light heavyweight king.
I was extremely arrogant when I fought Alexander Gustafsson the first time. I didn't think that I could possibly lose. I was beating all the legends of our sport.
And it is all over! John Jones remains light heavyweight champion!
I felt like God had blessed me to be a fighter, and I felt like God didn't want me to lose.
Oh! Big right hand! Look at the cut over the eye of John Jones.
I was right in the heyday of just being a complete party animal.
John Jones, youngest champion. He's involved in all sorts of drama and trouble in his personal life.
Missing practices, being at practice hungover.
Unfortunately, we're seeing this kind of pattern of self-sabotage.
And now I know that, God can definitely bless you with talents, but if you don't meet them halfway, then it's what's worth.
Oh, big combination by Gustafsson, teeing off.
I hit him with shots that I haven't seen him get hit before.
Nice uppercuts. Oh! This has been the most he's ever been hit inside the octagon.
I was amazed that it wasn't that hard, actually.
Gustafsson with the takedown. Incredible. John Jones gets taken down for the first time in his career.
I honestly believe that I beat him.
Who's the champion?
He fought a diluted version of myself the first time. At his absolute best, and he still came up short.
Oh! Gustafsson's busted up now.
It showed me that even when my body's not physically prepared, that my heart's always in the right place. Oh! No way in hell I'm gonna lay down and let a grown man whoop my.
And
still! A lot of people believe we lost the first fight, so we just want to cancel all doubt in the minds of the people, and that's what we're gonna do.
I just want to beat John, nothing else. Beating John is bigger than taking the light heavyweight belt. I see myself much better today. I see myself much more mature. I'm going to be faster than ever. I'm going to move more than ever. And I'm going to push the pace more than ever.
You know, Alexander Gustafsson is just another piece in this puzzle of dominance. He knows he's nothing special. I'm going to dominate Alexander Gustafsson, give you guys this fight you should have saw the first time.
Is a truly special striker. The number 2 ranked light heavyweight contender, Alexander Gustafsson, trying to become the first Swede to break through and win a UFC title. He has had a 580-day layoff, the longest of his pro career. Says he's had a lot of time to heal and slow things down, and he believes he is a far better version than the one Jon Jones saw back in 2013.
He has had a long time outside of competition, but not a long time outside of training. And he has known that this is most likely his next bout for a long time. He's been preparing for this, both mentally and physically. He has formalized a strategy that he believes is going to be effective in beating Jon Jones, and we are about to see if he's going to pull it off.
Tonight's Prep Point is brought to you by Modelo, brewed for those with a fighting spirit. Dom, this is your former teammate, a man you know quite well.
Yeah, Alex said to me that last time he lost his fight in round 4 and 5, he can't let those rounds slip away. But first of all, he said the first time I fought him, I had never gone 5 rounds other than that fight. That was the first time, so that's why I lost those rounds. I've had 2 fights where I've gone the distance now, and I'm very confident in my cardio, and then I can push Jon to the edge this time. Where I lost in the 5th, I won't lose this time, and if I don't knock him out earlier, I'd be shocked.
15th UFC appearance for Alexander Gustafsson, 3-3 in main events. 2 of those, his title fights against Daniel Cormier, split decision setback, and of course the aforementioned fight with Jon Jones. Alexander Gustafsson, 25 minutes or fewer away from completing his ultimate mission. Who enjoy fighting as much as Jon Jones, but nobody enjoys it more. Joe Rogan, this man is ubiquitously regarded as the greatest mixed martial arts athlete to step foot inside that octagon. And tonight, he looks to regain his status as the undisputed UFC light heavyweight champion.
He's certainly one of the greats. In my mind, it's between him and Mighty Mouse, and he's faced better competition. What you see with John is unprecedented talent. We saw that from the moment he first stepped into the octagon. He's an outstanding wrestler. He's a creative striker, and he's a champion. He's a man who figures out a way to win, and he has done that over and over and over again against the best light heavyweights on the planet Earth.
I love watching John because he's got different tools that he uses than everybody. He keeps range with his kicks and his long stature. He also throws those teep kicks to the knees. He uses elbows and knees when you get past his long limbs and you get into the pocket different than anybody in the world. He can elbow you from the outside by parrying your punches and coming over the top. He throws spin elbows to counter jabs, and he throws every kick you could think of from the outside to walk you into his power. He's very systematic, and he never throws anything without first setting it up. This man is one of the best ever, and I'm excited to be here to watch him fight against Alexander Gustafsson because he's got the opposite tools. Boxing, footwork, wrestling, the hand speed, and these two perfectly mold to the perfect match for one of the greatest fights of all time.
He really nailed a lot of things during this 12-week preparation. The first 4 weeks spent sort of getting his baseline, getting the cardio up, master the weight cut, which candidly wasn't always the case. He isn't disciplined in certain aspects of his life, but in terms of getting ready for this fight, his coaches tell me he was so disciplined that at times he was able to ingest a lot more food. First fighter to weigh in 204 pounds. Johnny Bones is ready to go, and perhaps he'll present the best version of himself here tonight.
Well, what he is under now is unprecedented pressure, and he's the type of guy that rises to the occasion. And what we're going to get a chance to see tonight is how he responds not just to pressure, but to the most disciplined camp he's ever had with the highest stakes ever. This is all or nothing for John Jones. This is everything.
25th professional fight for Johnny Bones. Only 7 have gone the distance. He has a new boxing coach, Aaron Soriano. John Jones is back for the first time in 16 months tonight. This tail to tape for our main event is brought to you by Modelo, brewed for those with a fighting spirit. John Jones and Alexander Gustafsson, both 31 years of age. Gustafsson, the taller man by 1 inch, but John Jones will have the 5.5-inch reach advantage. All right, now to get you the introductions for our headliner, we turn it over to Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening, presented by Modelo, sanctioned by the California State Athletic Commission. Commissioners John Carvelli, Executive Officer Andy Foster. Our 3 judges scoring this contest at Octagon side are Sally Amato, Christopher Lee, and Junichiro Kamijo. And when the action begins, our referee in charge of the Octagon, Mike Beltran. This championship bout is sponsored by Modelo, brewed for those with a fighting spirit. P3, the official protein snack of the UFC. And Metro by T-Mobile. Get unlimited high-speed data all month long on the same network as T-Mobile. And now, for those in attendance and UFC fans watching around the world, this is the moment you've all been waiting for. Live from the sold-out Forum in Los Angeles, California. It's time! 5 rounds for the vacant UFC Light Heavyweight Championship of the world. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, a mixed martial artist holding a professional record, 18 wins, 4 losses. He stands 6 feet 5 inches tall, weighing in at 204 1/2 pounds. Fighting out of Stockholm, Sweden, presenting the #2 light heavyweight contender in the world, Alexander the Baller Gustafsson. And now introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, a look-see-through fighting style fighter, holding a professional record, 22 wins, 1 loss, 1 no contest. He stands 6 feet 4 inches tall, weighing in at 204 pounds. Fighting out of Albuquerque, New Mexico, by way of Endicott, New York, presenting the former UFC light heavyweight champion and the #1 light heavyweight ranked contender in the world, John Paul Jones!
All right, gentlemen, been over the rules already. Protect yourself at all times. Obey my commands at all times. Touch goes now if you want. Come on out and handle your business. Let's go.
The rematch is upon us. Jon Jones, Alexander Gustafsson. One man will soon be the undisputed UFC light heavyweight champion. This is a belt that Jon Jones defended a record 8 times.
All right, gentlemen, first round. You ready to fight? You ready to fight? Handle, let's go.
And Alexander Gustafsson looking to become a first-time UFC champion. The Fight Clock brought to you by Modelo Brew for those with a fighting spirit. Gustafsson is in black, Jon Jones is in white.
Watch the teep kick to the knees. That's what Jones would use in the past in order to keep the distance where he wanted it.
John immediately used that wrenching motion on the elbow of Gustafsson that he used on Glover Teixeira to wreck his shoulder.
Alex said that he's got to feint more in order to take away those knees, those teep to the knees that Jones throws on everybody. He's got to fake more and be in and out with jabs. See if he can use that.
Stop! Turn! Turn! John, get on that side of the leg. Get on that side! You good? Hey, pick it up, all right? Keep it clean. Let's go!
Strong warning there from Mike Beltran for the low strike.
Yeah, we're going to get a chance to see it. It looked very low. John was saying it was the inside of the thigh, but we'll take a look at it in between rounds if it's an issue.
Gustafsson has stopped a couple takedown attempts early, came in with a takedown defense north of 85%.
Alex said, last time I fought him, I only threw 1-2s. I didn't throw enough combinations. I need more long-ended combinations. See if he can make that happen in this matchup.
Good knee to the body there by Gustafsson.
Gustafsson appeared to land. Jones counters. 2 minutes gone by here in round 1. Jones sticks to the body there.
As the fight moves on, Alex sometimes ducks when you grab his head. He ducks down into the knees, and I think Jones is reaching for his head, trying to get Alex to duck down into that knee. We've seen it twice now. It's an old habit if you watch Alex on film. If you grab his head, he ducks right down into it.
Jones got a lot of different looks in training, different sparring partners. Chief among them, Leonid Grachev, #3 ranked super heavyweight boxer in the U.S. Oh, lead elbow from Jones lands.
And a nice front kick to the body as well.
And that's what he does better than almost anybody, is he can elbow you from the outside like he's throwing a punch. He gets you to think that you're going to parry his right or his left hand, and then he comes over the top of your parry with an elbow. Very slick, Jones. Another thing that he's doing is you're seeing him grab Alex immediately with underhooks so that he can't throw his boxing combinations. Those are the little adjustments right now we're seeing from Jones so far.
As usual, Gustafsson continuing to switch up the footwork, moves as well as any light heavyweight.
He's faking. I'd like to see Alex go to the body more and then work up top from there.
Jones in on a single.
Needs a whizzer. Alex needs a whizzer. Nice. You threatened the guillotine. Good work on there. Watch on the break. John likes to elbow on the break. Good defense from both gentlemen there.
Superman punch attempt by Alex.
Gustafsson lands there to the body. 1 minute now to go, round one.
Gustafsson looking for the trip there.
Jones continuing to circle towards Gustafsson's right.
A lot of reading of range and timing going on right now. There's been a lot of weird tricks these guys have been throwing already. Keep things offset, guessing.
Good kick to the body by Jones.
And that's right when Alex switches. That shuts off the switch of Alex, so he doesn't want to switch stance.
Jones, the more efficient striker in round one.
Now here's the low blow. Let's take a look at it real quick. Yeah, right in there. It was on the inside of the thigh, but definitely made contact with the cup. And here's that elbow from the outside by Jon Jones.
Slow down. Just feel that waterfall. Feel that water starting on your head, going all the way down your body. Calming you down. Calming you down. Listen, you gotta keep the pressure on him just like you're doing. Even when he denies the takedown, you're still winning. Understand me? But don't force the takedown. You're trying to force it. I gotta get him down. Just relax a little bit. Flow, pop, pop. It'll be there if you just relax and flow.
Southpaw knives all day long, Jon Jones. I want that body, hit that body stance, all right?
The unauthorized reproduction or distribution of this copyright work is illegal and punishable under law. Dom, your thoughts on the message there from Greg Jackson and Mike Winklejohn to their pupil, Jon Jones?
Well, to me, they trust his natural abilities. They trust his instincts, so they're just keeping him calm, keeping his heart rate low, making sure that he stays calm. And as you saw in that first round, Jon Jones never, ever looked panicked, never, ever looked like he was exploding. He was just nice and easy, and that's what they're trying to do here for 5 rounds. Smart.
Gustafsson takes the center of the octagon here for round 2. Jones with an early attack to the midsection of Gus.
Gus needs to let his hands go. He needs to start throwing more combinations to the body and then finish up top.
Nice body kick and then an inside leg kick by Jones. And I agree with you, Gustafsson's got to open up with his hands. He's got excellent boxing. We really saw that in the Glover Teixeira fight.
Well, that's what Jon does so well, is he makes your hands non-existent by attacking your legs so you can't move forward into the hands range. Right there, he throws those kicks, he throws the teep kicks to the body, he throws elbows, and it keeps you from being able to use your boxing. Because the kick range, he keeps you at kick range.
Jones outlanding Gus by a 2-1 margin thus far.
Alex just got to get in that boxing range. And he can't get there. So that's been the issue so far.
And there's a knee on the break by Jon. Jon's taking advantage of these opportunities where Alex isn't. Alex has got to get his head into this. It seems to me that he's waiting on Jon a bit.
Well, he can't get the rhythm because he can't get in reach to use his hands. Jon's doing a good job keeping him at kick range, so Alex is a boxer. He needs to be in boxing range.
There was a right hand by Alex that got through.
Now Gus starting to open up a little bit.
There it is. And we're seeing less teep kicks from Jones this round, so it's allowing him to get his feet underneath him a little better.
Oh, beautifully placed.
Yeah, nasty kick to the body. He's having a lot of success with that left kick to the body from that southpaw stance.
Stop, turn! Good. Stay over here. Get on that side. Alex, get on that side over there. Hey, over there. Right there.
Oof.
Yeah, it's nasty.
Hey, stand over here. You got time. Work it out, okay, Johnny? You good? I'm just going to have the doctor check it out real quick, okay? Stay right there.
Alex also looks very calm, though. And that's...
You're good to go, right?
They're both very well matched.
good. He's good to go. Okay, let's go. Hey, watch your fingers. All right, I'm not gonna have that tonight. You understand? Watch your fingers. Johnny, watch your fingers as well, all right? You good? You good? Both of you, watch your fingers. Ready? Fight, let's go.
Mike Beltran Furman warning Alexander Gustafsson just over 3 minutes here in round 2 of a possible 5.
There he goes. Now Gustafsson's opening up, and John Jones with a kick to the body. But that's what we want to see from Gustafsson. There it is. There's a nice left hand.
He's starting to get his rhythm. You see Alex, he starts hopping on his feet more. He starts piecing combinations together. He's in and out more. That's when he's getting on rhythm.
Jones working on that lead leg of Gustafsson, who misses with an elbow counter.
A lot of pressure by Gustafsson, but he's having a hard time reaching John here.
To kick range.
A lot of face, a lot of head movement from Alexander.
John's showing good footwork too here. Moving well, side to side, switchy stance. Alex is on him right now, keeping the pace the way he needs to, keeping the pressure. That's what he needs to do the fight right here the entire time.
Yeah, and John is not enjoying going backwards constantly like this. This will, nice leg kick. Strong kick by John.
And you see anytime Alex switches to southpaw, he gets caught. That's what Alex does. He attacks the second Alex switches stance so that he can't switch on him.
Looked like John partially caught Gustafsson on the way in. 90 seconds to go in the round. Not surprisingly, big discrepancy in terms of the time spent advancing. But that does not necessarily mean you're winning.
John looked low and kicked high there.
Ooh.
Oh, he hurt him with that one.
Well, that's what he's doing. He's switching up the kicks. He goes low, he goes high, he goes teep kick, he goes knee, he goes elbow. Different looks always, and each strike sets up the next one. And right now we got Alex. He's got to let his hands go more.
I think Alex's left leg is hurt. He's moving kind of funny on it, and he took a hard inside leg kick.
Taking a lot to the shin as well.
Yeah.
And that right hand landed heavy for Alex. Right behind John's ear.
Jones working off the jab out of the orthodox stance now.
Alex does need to be careful with that leg, though. You're exactly right, Joe.
Yeah, he can only take so many shots.
Correct.
Steps in. Nice elbow on the break from John Jones.
Some swelling under that left eye of Alexander Gustafsson now. Trying to blink it out a bit. 10 minutes in the can. We will follow Alexander Gustafsson into the blue corner. You saw an obvious wince
there.
He
might have hurt him with that kick to the body. And a good right hand over the top by Gustafsson. And here is that spinning back kick to the body. There's the kick to the inside. And we see there's definitely a little bit of a limp to his step. Okay, they didn't have the spinning back kick, but at the end of the round, it appeared that kick to the body hurt Gustafsson.
They were icing the back of the right leg of Gustafsson, but his shin on the left side is significantly swollen from the kick you just saw. So we'll see how that affects Gustafsson's mobility here in round 3.
Yeah, there might be something going on with his right leg if they did that, because we didn't see that.
Nice stick there by Gustafsson. But he has landed just 29% of his strikes unofficially thus far.
The big difference in this fight has really been the leg kicks.
Good entry there by Jones. He gets his first takedown.
On top. Elbows by Jones.
Now Jones got Alex in half guard. He's got that leg clamped down. He's got Alex flat on his back. Alex needs to get to his right hip and dig that left underhook up. Get that frame off of his chin. Push that by. get towards the hips.
He's also tying up that arm and forcing Gustafsson to be in that position where he can darce him.
He's too low. He's low on Alex's hips. Alex needs to bump his hips a little, pull him up top towards his head so he can get down, get that leg out of there. As long as John hooks that leg, he's not getting up.
John's reaching back, maintains that position in half guard. He stepped over, side control for John Jones. Sliding that arm through for the crucifix. Drops down a nasty elbow.
Now he's got a half Nelson here to keep Alex from bellying out. He wants to keep him from bellying out. Now he's going to throw his hook in.
He's going to take
side.
his back. He's going to take Alex's back. This is a bad position for Alex. He's got to scramble out of here. Oh, big shots. Big shots by John Jones.
In trouble here.
Gustafsson's in trouble. That's
John
it.
Jones has regained the throne.
Wow.
John Jones stops Alexander Gustafsson in round 3. And he is once again the undisputed UFC light heavyweight champion. Masterfully done to potentially cap his rivalry here with Alexander Gustafsson. This fight replay is brought to you by Nemiroff, bold character since 1872. A nice embrace there by the rivals, John Jones and Alexander Gustafsson. They went 25 hard minutes last time. Tonight, John Jones proving to be far too much for the number 2 ranked contender, Alexander Gustafsson.
We see here John times a beautiful takedown, gets it, and from there he's able to progress to half guard, start landing big elbows right away so that he can move up the body. Once he passes half guard, gets to side mount, he goes to the crucifix position, lands some huge elbows. This forces Alex to try to belly out. John then goes to the half Nelson, as you see here, to try to keep Alex from bellying out. Then he's able to throw that left hook in and keep Alex bellied out to where he can just start unloading big punches right there. And this is the end that you're watching right here. Just too many big punches, too much top pressure from Jones, and he gets a finish. Very nice fight from John Jones. Great technique. Progressionally just took every position step by step until he got the finish. Beautiful matchup. And Alexander Gustafsson had some great moments in this fight, just not quite enough.
Johnny Bones remains the standard at 205 pounds. He's a man who thrives under all sorts of different forms of pressure situations. You see the swelling on that left shin of Alexander Gustafsson, and he's certainly going to be disappointed in this effort here tonight, but clearly he ran into the better man. The official decision brought to you by Metro by T-Mobile. Get unlimited high-speed data all month long on the same network as T-Mobile. One final time tonight. Here's Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Mike Beltran has called a stop to this contest at 2 minutes, 2 seconds of round number 3, declaring the winner by knockout and new undisputed UFC light heavyweight champion of the world, John Bones Jones.
John Jones, welcome back.
What's up, man? Thank you so much. How are you, Joe Rogan?
I'm good, sir. How you doing?
Oh, man, alhamdulillah. God is so good.
After all the pressure, all the chaos, everything that has happened in your life up to this moment, how good does it feel to be back, to be victorious, and to have that UFC gold around your waist right now?
Hey, you know what? Without God, I am absolutely nothing. All glory be to God. Man, with that being said, man, this is great. This is a great feeling. I want to thank my beautiful fiance, Jessie, man. She has, man, she really helped me get through this one and all the fights. Just so strong. My coaching staff, Greg Jackson, Mike Winklejohn, Izzy Martinez, Roberto Alencar, my man Aaron, Brandon Gibson, Tusa, Lawrence, my swim coach, Jesse. I mean, I'm really a product of the beautiful people around me. One of my best friends, Tule, Ali G, my team. Man, I just got a great group of men around me, mighty men. I'm a product of all of them.
What did it feel like stepping into the octagon tonight? Was there any difference? What was the pressure like?
You know, the difference, Leo, my man Leo, my boxing partner. You know, man, the first time I fought Alexander, I stayed in his punching range. And the main difference was I was aware of how far away I was at all times. Alexander did some great combinations, but if you really go back and watch the fight, he landed very few punches in my face tonight. And that was just from a greater sense of understanding. I really think our team is the most dangerous team, especially when we get a rematch.
Well, let's take a look at the final finish, John, and enjoy your handiwork. You got him down to the ground, and then during this scramble, you wound up taking his back. Talk us through this right here.
Yeah, man, that's Gracie Baja Jiu-Jitsu and Kaido Jitsu. Just, you know, Alexander Gustafsson, he's the type of guy where if he can get up quick, he does well. If you can hold him down past 30 seconds, you're more than likely going to be keeping him down. We knew that, so the idea was to get back to wrestling, getting that right in time. And then after you get that right in time, start looking for ground and pound and submissions, and everything worked out.
Now, John, there's been a lot of talk about you potentially fighting as a heavyweight, defending your light heavyweight title, becoming a 2-division champ. What are your thoughts now? What would you like to do next?
Man, I know there's a guy who's been calling himself champ. I mean, what guy just gives up his belt because somebody else made it home? Daddy's home, DC. Prove to the fans you're a champ. Come get a taste. I'm here. Get your belt back. He'll be waiting right here.
Congratulations, Jon Jones. Jon Jones, ladies and gentlemen.
Johnny Bones with a big performance tonight. No surprise. That post-fight interview brought to you by EA Sports UFC 3. Get 2 games for the price of 1 with the EA Sports UFC 3 Fight Night Champion Bundle. Available for $24 exclusively on Xbox One for a limited time.
I sure hope DC takes that. I mean, I just do. I think that...
Yeah, that has to take place.
I mean, I really hope so. That is the fight to make happen. Those two are the best in the world.
It is the only fight that makes sense for John at this point in his career, and especially for DC, because we know that DC is 1, maybe 2 fights away from retiring. And this is the fight for him to cement his legacy. If DC can win, what does he say? I mean, S-H-I-T. He should win. Dude starts with a head start every time. Well, I think he's talking about steroids. The problem,
really? You think?
Yeah, I think that's what he's saying.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hashtag USADA fake, yeah.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, but the fight still has to happen. That's the thing. I mean, all that can be said, DC, but this fight has to happen. You two are the best in the world, and everybody in the world wants to see it. So, DC, I hope you take it. And Jon Jones, beautiful fight tonight. And, you know, you got to have respect for all these guys. I mean, I understand DC's position, but at the same time, I mean, what weight class are they going to fight at? How about that?
Well, Jones has said...
Why not heavyweight?
I agree.
I think DC likes fighting at heavyweight. I think he fights better there. He feels better there. He doesn't like cutting weight.
I like heavyweight for DC, and I like that fight at heavyweight in general because DC's found a home there, and he's looked more impressive there than ever.
Yes.
And I'd like to see Jon Jones have that challenge and have to take that challenge at heavyweight with DC.
That would be a tremendous fight. And then, who knows, they do that and then do it at light heavyweight too.
Right.
What the hell?
Well, Jones has intimated that he wants to fight DC in this 205-pound division. That's what he said here during fight week, but...
I don't know if DC wants to make that cut anymore.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think he needs to. He could stay a heavyweight and have this fight